Folks, welcome to an all-new episode of So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Monday episode. We were busy over the weekend. This is my last night here in Charleston. We were here for Sophie Ross's wedding. I'll tell you a little bit about that, and it was just so beautiful. And we just got back from dinner with a fellow podcaster and YouTuber, Adam Newell, up in Adam and his husband, and we had like a 3-hour dinner. Man, I wish we could have kept going, but I got to come and I got to talk to you guys about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and some other things. I mean, duty calls. I can't go a week without talking about the insanity of Lisa, Heather, Whitney, Meredith, Alibaba, Brittany, Jared Osmond. Sorry, I'm already laughing just saying Jared Osmond's name. Just truly, what a gift. What a gift. The Bravo men, the men of Bravo. What a dangerous group of men. Like, it truly is like the dark side of the Justice League or something. It's like every man has some kind of special quality that makes them they just come off so weird on television, which I love, because these should be celebrating the women of Bravo, which I think Salt Lake City does brilliantly. But let's talk about a couple of other things before we get into that. First off, how are you guys doing? How was your weekend? I hope it was good. Can you believe it's Monday already? Now, usually this is a pop culture roundup, but since the, Charleston happened and things like that, the schedule was a little off, and we did the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 14 trailer. I recapped the entire trailer. 2 minutes and 37 seconds of a trailer turned into an hour podcast. So by that notion, this 43-minute episode of Salt Lake City, you're looking at an 8-hour podcast potentially. No, we'll get out here probably much quicker than that. But it was a great episode, and there was no way I was not going to talk about it. We also released the Real Housewives of Orange County recap. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. It was actually I had such a blast doing that recap, and I hope I have the same kind of fun doing this recap tonight, because it was an insane episode. When you have a Mob Wives themed episode and you have Lisa Barlow screaming at her IT person, her security. Remember, Lisa has a stable of like 33 lawyers, an IT person, and a partridge in a pear tree. And I mean, when you have Lisa Barlow screaming at her security person saying, "I want to go all the way with this. Whitney, are you kidding me? I want to get police involved." I'm like, tell me more. Hell yes. We're only 6 episodes into the season, and I think it is just fan-flippin-tastic. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but my God, it's the most bizarre franchise out of all the Housewives franchise. So like, I truly don't care if Whitney sells jewelry from Alibaba. I don't care. I mean, like, there are so many things I don't care about, but what I do care about is that they all come together in this beautiful, weird package that I just devour every week. I've watched this episode a couple of times already, even in Charleston. Like, I put this on as like bedtime music. Like, this is a comforting show to me. This and Love After Lockup. Let's see here. So we did the OC recap. We did the Beverly Hills trailer recap. You can watch those on YouTube as well. But if you are a YouTube viewer, always make sure you go over to the podcast, give us a 5-star review on there on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Hello to my Patreon members. What up, baddies? We start Vanderpump Rules Season 2, Episode 1 recap this week. Also, I will be putting out an episode talking in more detail about Sophie's wedding. Now, Sophie was going to actually come on today, the day after her wedding, at her request, to talk about it, but she has lost her voice. But she will, I believe, be coming on this week, because there are so many things that I want to talk to her about. And first off, just to congratulate her. What a beautiful ceremony it was. How fun of a party it was. Everything was just so amazing. Of course, this guy, I teared up multiple times, and that was before we even sat down at the service. It was so beautiful. Her family's amazing. Her husband, Henry, and his family were great. It was just really lucky to be a part of this. And this is the joy of doing what I do, is being able to kind of get, form these friendships over the years that you really, I made a post on Instagram saying when I invited Sophie to come on for the first time, like over 4 years ago, it was to talk about Hilaria Baldwin and Alec Baldwin because she had been tweeting about it. And I thought, hey, reach out to Sophie and she'll talk. I never met her before. And I had such a good time. And it kind of started this thing where she's one of those people that I just love to podcast with. And I can't imagine this show without her every couple of weeks. And, I feel like a big brotherly kind of vibe towards her, but it's so amazing to watch her take this next step. And Henry's just such a good guy. I have to tell you, I was so excited right off the bat because the music, they had like a I don't know, like a celloist or a violinist, I don't know, one of those orchestra things. And they were playing Accidentally in Love, which is a Counting Crows song, folks, from the Shrek 2 soundtrack. And that was like at the beginning. And I was like, now that's what I call music volume 23. This is incredible. They played that song. They played Natasha Bedingfield from the Hills. They played Taylor Swift. They played Lover when she was walking down the aisle. So as a pop culture music fan as well, I was like, hell yeah. And also Counting Crows, like, Counting Crows deserves representation. I feel like we don't talk enough about Counting Crows. So anytime that somebody plays Counting Crows, especially in a wedding setting, I'm just like, good. The band needs this. Good for Adam Duritz. Good. All of her friends and family, they were all amazing. There's a bunch of people that had listened to the podcast. Oh my God. I got to meet her grandma, and her grandma was like, oh, I listened to you guys. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. When I was like, we curse and we talk about the weirdest things. I mean, somebody was telling me about like hearing Sophie talk about BBLs for the first time on the podcast. Her mom was amazing. I don't know. I can't say anything bad about it. Also, I got to hang out with a lot of Southern hospitality people. I met Leva. Leva was amazing. I'll post a picture of me and Leva tomorrow. The cast of Southern Hospitality. Craig Conover unblocked me this weekend. So guys, don't tell me that miracles don't happen, because Craig Conover unblocked me and I got to see one of his posts on Instagram for the first time in years. And I got to it felt pretty good. I was like, look at this. Look at me looking at Craig Conover's Instagram feed. This is what I do it for. I mean, it's a really special weekend for me. And then, like I said, I went to dinner with Adam and Jason, and it was just great. Like, we were just talking everything, talking about our lives, talking about Bravo. He had just been to Dorinda's Berkshire's Bluestone Manor for a Halloween party. And it's just what a weird, I mean, like, I never thought this would be my life. I've never thought. And it's these shows that I've watched for 16, 17 years on Bravo, right? And when I first watched it, podcasts didn't really exist. None of this really existed. Only my love for this stuff existed. I read a comment somewhere. It was about something of like, oh, I think it's so weird he takes these shows so seriously. And first off, I think it's weird when anybody takes the time to write a comment like that, because come on, that's a little weird too. Yeah, this is weird, but the whole concept of this show is to kind of run towards what you love, right? Don't be ashamed of these things that people tell you should be ashamed of. Listen, we can do it all. We can read the smart people books. We can watch the Oscar-winning movies, but we also realize that these shows can provide laughter. It can provide love. It can provide friendships. It's worth talking about these relationships. And so anytime I read a comment or hear something like that about myself or anybody, I'm like, God, think about how much these shows have brought into my life. How much joy it has brought, and how much suffering too. I'm talking about Sandoval mainly, like how much suffering it's brought. But at the same time, I mean, it's just weird because I never would have expected this out of my life. And I never would have expected that I would have talked for 30 minutes about Shannon Bedore not being able to poop for 3 days in England. I'm like, wow. And also, by the way, I don't know if there's awards for podcasting, but if anybody could submit my Orange County episode where I talk about Shannon Bedore not pooping for 3 days, you'd be doing me a huge solid, because I'm telling you, that kind of podcast that I did for the OC recap, that's a Pulitzer right there. That is, I know the Washington Post might not be really doing real reporting, but to me, when the Washington Post was doing real reporting, I think that podcast would be up for a newspaper award or something. I'm just telling you, it's the way I talked about Shannon Bedore's blockage I think it's poetry. It's poetry in motion, what we do here. And I couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you. And I got a couple comments of like, oh, why are you working while you're there? Don't work. And yeah, this is work and all of that stuff. But at the same time, there's truly this joy out of it. Like I was in such a good mood after the Orange County recap going into Sophie's wedding because I had laughed for a couple hours talking to you guys. And then we went and had a fantastic time at the wedding. And I was like, this is a pretty good life. The one thing I will say out of the 30 million things I will say today was I was thinking was thinking, me and Rebecca, we were sitting down at the dinner table or at the wedding, and the flowers were so beautiful. And it was one of those moments that I tell you guys about all the time where I had that like, oh, I want to text my mom the pictures of these flowers, because my mom always got a kick out of Sophie, and she would have gotten such a kick out of this wedding, and she would have loved it. She would have loved it. And I was talking to Sophie's mom about this and just saying, man, I don't know. The whole point being, you know, your family and your friends, these kind of trips are good reminders to realize what is important in your life. And to the small group of people that I consider friends in my life, none of them are probably listening right now, but if they are, I love you. And I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Okay, let's start making fun of some people before I start tearing up. I want to get into the Salt Lake City, obviously. But I did want to talk about something that I found very interesting that happened today in terms of pop culture. And did you guys hear this, what they did in New York today? And I'm not talking about any rallies or political events. I, of course, am talking about Timothée Chalamet. They did a Timothée Chalamet lookalike concert in New York today. And I was like, okay, cool. And the prize, you guys, for the Timothée Chalamet, the one voted the most looking like Timothée Chalamet was going to win $50. So yeah, big money was involved here. $50 whole if you looked like Timothée Chalamet. And this was great. Guess who showed up to the Timothée Chalamet lookalike contest? Timothée Chalamet himself showed up. Yeah, Timothée Chalamet showed up himself. And I'm like, how bad does this kid need $50 that he's showing up to his own lookalike lookalike contest? But get this, police were called to disperse the crowd, and they even detained one person. And the pictures of this are hysterical because there's a lot of people that kind of look like Timothée Chalamet and a lot of people that think they look like Timothée Chalamet, but they don't look like Timothée Chalamet at all. There was Willy Wonka Timothée Chalamet's. There's Bob Dylan Timothée Chalamet's because he's starring as Bob Dylan in the holiday movie Complete Unknown. Sorry, it's coming out during the holidays. I don't mean it's like the Bob Dylan Christmas movie. It's just coming out during the holidays. So Timothée Chalamet showed up. There's pictures of him arriving, and he's waving and greeting fans. And I wonder at what point did Timothy, was he like going over this in his head of like, should I go? Should I go to my own lookalike contest? And then I was like, is Kylie Jenner? They didn't say if Kylie Jenner was with him or not, but like, does he leave the apartment with Kylie and go, hey, I'm going to my lookalike contest right now? Anyways, a fan wearing a purple Willy Wonka costume was ultimately crowned the winner, and they have won $50. So this was huge, but it got this huge crowd in New York. The police came and they did. Also, imagine explaining to your family that you got arrested at a Timothée Chalamet lookalike contest. This was during the day. This wasn't even at night, which, by the way, in Charleston right now, during the day, Charleston, quaint, beautiful, like really idyllic and scenic. At night, this place goes off, and it's Halloween weekend. So up and down King Street, which is the main drag, it's just bar after bar after bar. And it's all like girls and dudes in their early 20s. And I'm like, Shep and Austin will never get married ever in their life. They will. I mean, it is going to be Matthew McConaughey and Dazed and Confused all over again. All right, all right, all right. Oh man, these girls stay the same age. I'm the only one that gets older. All right, all right. I don't know if I don't think that's actually the line, but you know what I'm saying? they're never going to settle down. There's always going to be a new string of young girls in this college town that they are going to hit up. So, anyways, congrats to whoever won the Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest. We are all very proud of you. You represent America so well. So well. Other than that, I think it was kind of a quiet weekend in pop culture. They did announce overseas at the Hey You Bravo Spectacular. Now, Hey You is this streaming service, I believe. It's like where people overseas can get access to watch Real Housewives shows. And so they had a little bit of like kind of their BravoCon, and a lot of Bravo celebrities went out there. Andy Cohen was there, and they announced that Hey You is going to have a Hey You original for the Real Housewives of London. So they are having their own Housewives iteration. Now, this will be for Hey You overseas. So we don't have word yet if it will be on Bravo or Peacock or neither. Obviously, it'll be Hey You exclusively, but I'm sure if the show is good, and it seems like they're already putting a lot of money into it, that we will get this at some point, because Real Housewives of London, that sounds fantastic. I'm all for it, man. Anything that can spread the gospel of Housewives, I am for. Oh, also, you guys, get this shit. Guess who followed me yesterday on Instagram and my stomach hurt? I was like, Alex Baskin followed me, who is obviously the executive producer of Real Housewives of Orange County, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and a little show called Vanderpump Rules and The Valley. And he followed me, and I was like, oh no, what did I do? I just released the OC recap, and I was like, oh my God, is this about me going off about Shannon being backed up for 3 days about not pooping? And then I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, you know, when somebody follows you that you're like excited about, but you're like, oh no, I don't, I talk so much about these shows. Oh no. But I was really, really excited to get that follow, because if you listen to the show, I've talked many times that one of my dream interviews is Alex Baskin. What he has done for Housewives, Vanderpump, The Valley. I mean, this dude is at the top of the game when it comes to this. But wouldn't you just love to be a fly on the wall? I've said this many episodes. And if anybody that works for Alex Baskin is listening, please, I will sign all the NDAs in the world. I will sign all the Randall Emmett DNAs in the world if you can just let me be a fly on the wall at a production meeting. I will not report it. I won't tell you guys about it, which I know you're like, oh, screw you, Ryan, you've changed. But come on. Aren't you dying to know how these shows are put together? I just want to know. This is my Make-A-Wish Foundation moment. I want so badly to know the discussions that go into ramping up a season, how production works during the season, and how post-production works. I get closer and closer to the truth every year that I do this podcast, even coming down here and talking to like Leva and the Southern Hospitality people and the Southern Charm people. You start figuring out a little bit more how the sausage is made. And what I can assure you is that for everything that is like a little hinky, as Heather Dubrow would say, a lot of this is really real. And I think that's the scary part of it. It's really real. And the question I would love to ask Alex Baskin is, not the fans being a thorn in the side for these shows, but the housewives and cast members themselves being a thorn in the side. Because if we use Orange County or even Salt Lake City as an example, Orange County this week, it was about Shannon texting this paper trail to production in regards to like Ryan Boyajian and like other things throughout the seasons. And so these housewives are working behind the scenes, doing their own detective work that sometimes production isn't even aware of. Just imagine the emails that Alex Baskin has to, or the text messages that Alex Baskin has to go through. Like, uh-oh, Kelly Dodd's texting again. Like, just, it's the same thing I always feel about Andy Cohen. Like, at what point do you regret giving out your personal information to these people, because it seems like they have their own agenda. They want to like show that they want to make themselves look like they're in the best light, right? So I want to know from Mr. Baskin is, how hard is it to produce these shows in the year of 2024 when you know that all of these women, Salt Lake City, Lisa Barlow gets on the phone and is like, I want to take this all the way. We're 10 Roof Rusted. We're going to figure out who's doing this. Whitney, you're in a lot of trouble. Like they're paying other people security wise to get involved. They say, Lisa Barlow literally says she wants LA police and Salt Lake City police. At some point, can we let the police like maybe focus like actual crimes. The mean streets of Salt Lake City, it's wild. I always say, by the year 2025, there's going to be housewives divisions of crime in each and every police department across this great land. We are going to have full FBI departments just targeting housewives and people on Bravo. We already have Jen Shaw behind bars, which I'm sure now her sentence keeps getting reduced. So she'll be back on Salt Lake City within the next 2 years. You've got so many things. Salt Lake City, every season, it's not just the fights between the ladies. There's actual criminal activity going on. I want a representative from Alibaba. I want to know all of it. And I always just wonder, how hard is that for production to realize they're trying to do this job? And it's probably already super hard. And then on top of it, they've got to be housewives wranglers. They're like, oh, they got out of their cages. They're getting crazy. That's the thing that I just imagine it's got to be so tough. And I know they get paid for it and blah, blah, blah. And these shows are super successful. But just think about it. I always say these people usually have families. Just like us, they're just trying to finish their job and go home, eat a meal, watch some bad TV, and then go back and do it the next morning, and they're working for the weekend. And now they have to worry about like what Jax Taylor is doing with who's going to do a Reddit thread about it, who's going to take Instagram photos. They have to have now like divisions of detective work within their own production companies to combat the detective work that all of these women and cast members are doing on each other. It's that tangled web. It's it's the I don't know. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. I just had a double shot of espresso at the end of dinner because I told Adam, I was like, God, I got to go back and record an episode of Salt Lake City. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, double shot of espresso. So that's what you're hearing right now. Just extreme energy. Happy Monday, folks. Oh, I wanted to do 2 more stories before we get into the Salt Lake City recap. We had big news last week towards the end of the week, and that is a story that we've been talking about on here, and that is about the Menendez brothers and, the double homicide they had committed on their mom and dad. Well, we got news this week that George Gascon, who is the LA County District Attorney, has filed a petition to re-sentence Eric and Lyle Menendez, which will open the possibility of parole for these brothers who are currently serving life sentences for murder of their parents, right? So the district attorney, now, of course, some people are saying this is, so George Gascon will get reelected. So he's doing this, for the publicity in a sense. But he says that the brothers have paid their debt to society. And this is on the heels of Monsters, which is the Ryan Murphy Netflix series. They also released a Netflix documentary, and Kim Kardashian came out with Instagram posts and an interview with TMZ calling for the release of the brothers as well. And it looks like with his recommendation, they could possibly be home by Thanksgiving, which is just wild to think about. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, I said, you watch, man. I think maybe not next season, but the season after, one of these brothers, you're going to see them on Dancing with the Stars. They are set to potentially make millions once they are released. So it is a weird time. But this petition asked the court to resentence the men to 50 years to life on 2 counts of first-degree murder. And under California law, they would be eligible for youth parole since they were under the age of 26 at the time of the crime and have already served 30 years in prison. Now that the DA's office has filed the petition, it'll go before a judge. And if the judge sides with the defense and district attorney, a parole board will evaluate whether the brothers have been rehabilitated and are safe to reenter society. And they had this news conference on Thursday about this. And they're going to, I guess, the resentencing is going to go before the judge within the next 30 to 45 days. And she said that the brothers could attend the hearing either in person or via Zoom. And this is why, just because also what an interesting precedent where TV, this is the power of television, the power of streaming, the power of the Kardashians. You get all of these in these kind of recommendations in one fell swoop, and it seems like it really does move the needle. It is such an interesting case for so many reasons because, mainly they admit to killing their parents, but there was sexual abuse by the father. And now there is more information than there was over 30 years ago saying that this did actually happen. So I am very interested. I mean, this was such a huge news story back in the day that has been kind of revitalized and reinvigorated by all of the presence on Netflix. And I don't know, there's something so bizarre about this, but I'm so curious because it seems like the writing's on the wall. I think these brothers will definitely get released. Now, in other, this is sad news, and I think this is just super gross in so many ways. Now, Brandi Glanville, an iconic housewife from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and she was in Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Morocco, which will never see the light of day because Caroline Manzo filed suit against Bravo and said that there was unwanted sexual advances that Brandi Glanville did towards Caroline Manzo. And this was Caroline Manzo's like kind of return to television from her days, from the spinoff series and from Real Housewives of New Jersey. And Brandi, in some ways, she is celebrated for being kind of aggressive. She'll be overly sexual. We've seen this time and time again. She'll drink heavily or appears to drink heavily on these shows. And it's one of those cases where I always say, you don't want to worry about a housewife, how they make money for the rest of their lives. It seems like Brandi's in a very dark place because I don't think Bravo will work with her now. She also had lawyers that dropped her case. She had signed up with the Reality Reckoning people, which is, I believe, Mark Garagos and Brian Friedman. And Mark Garagos represents Bethany Frankel, represents Rachel Leviss, represents all of these realities people, and Brandi signed up with them, and then they let her go, said she didn't have a case anymore, and now Brandi is saying she has new lawyers that are taking up her case. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to mention she tweeted this out about 3 hours ago, so about, 4:49 LA time. She wrote, "Happy Sunday Fun Day. It's been almost 2 years now since a lying, short, red-haired, closeted old lesbian ruined my life." And I'm like, wait a sec. Is Andy Cohen have red hair? No, she means Caroline Manzo, even though Caroline Manzo has pretty much gray hair right now. She stopped coloring it. That's neither here nor there. So she writes this. "It's been almost 2 years now since lying, short-haired, red-haired, closeted old lesbian ruined my life. Girl, lean into the," and she put 3 rainbow emojis, which is, gay pride. And she says, "It's a beautiful space. When you come out, your family will be able to finally speak their own obvious truths." And then she did the emoji with the smiling face with like hearts around it, then a rainbow flag, then the smiling emoji, then a rainbow flag. So Brandi has dipped into the Charles Shaw a little early on a Sunday and just blasted that tweet out. And whoo, Brandi, girl, man, you just feel so bad for Brandi, but Brandi also was trying to sue Bravo. I don't know. Like, it just seems like there is a lot of suffering that Brandi goes through. And I just don't think this is the way. I don't think this is the way. What do you guys think? And I just think that is the wrong way to go about things. Also, congrats go out to Lindsay Hubbard. She had her baby shower today in New York. And this was the co-ed baby shower with her and her boyfriend, who she's having the child with, and it looked like a beautiful baby shower. Entertainment Tonight was there. I mean, I'm sure it was like a party of all parties. So, I mean, that's crazy. Lindsay's going to be giving birth in a hot minute, and I think that's going to be exciting to see how that all kind of works out. And I think Lindsay will be a great mom. Let's see if the baby makes her way to Summer House. Hopefully, double cross on that one. Okay. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is episode 6. I mean, right now, they could end this season right now, and I think it would pretty much be a perfect season. It's to me, each episode is the same level of quality, insanity, humor, drama. It's everything that you want in a Housewives show. Now, this title is called Mafia Wives and Bad Vibes. And I'm like, whoo, we're on fire with the titles. What a great title. Mafia Wives and Bad Vibes. It's poetry in motion. And this is the description that is on Peacock. It says, "A mafia-themed party Whitney accuses Lisa of leaking the rumor about her jewelry company. These descriptions, they never live up to the actual episode because the episode has it all. The episode has it all. This is just Whitney accuses Lisa of leaking the rumor about her jewelry company. Great. But there is so much more to this episode that is not even covered in this description. But don't worry, folks. We are going to go through every moment of this episode like a fine-tooth comb. Also, I know I said we're going to start, but I did get some information that was DM'd to me this weekend that I have to tell you about right at the beginning. This Jared Osman, obviously him and his special friendship with Brittany Bateman is turning out to be one of my favorite storylines of the season. Now, Jared Osman, of course, comes from the Osman family dynasty. He potentially lives behind the gates of Osman Lane, where all of the amazing, Salt Lake City Ians live. But guess what, folks? Jared Osman, he is so much to so many people. And it turns out he's a musician, just like his family. That's right. Jared Osman has an album. Yeah, I'm not even joking. Jared Osman has an album from 2008 called Innocent Ones. And here is the picture right here. It looks like he's standing in the desert. You can see kind of a mountain, but he's standing on the desert. He's got some nice acid wash jeans on, a sports jacket, and like a blue Express for Men button-up shirt that's untucked because he's business casual. And this is Jared Osman, 2008. Here are some of the, I'm not making this up. I don't think I can play the music because I don't want to get into trouble, but here are the titles of the songs. And we might have to do a special episode where I break down the lyrical content of these songs. I'm waiting for a special occasion, maybe on the plane ride back to Los Angeles tomorrow, to listen to this music. But there are 10 tracks, 37 minutes. I like that. That's a tight album. It's not one of those bloated albums that's over an hour like Justin Timberlake's last album. Jared Osman knows how to crank it out in 37 minutes. The first title of the first album track is called My Little Boy. And I'm guessing that's about his little boy. I don't know. The second title is Just Stay. Wow, Just Stay. Okay, so that's this sounds like Michael Bolton. Watch out. Third track is called I Might Find Some Comfort Here. Hell yeah. I'm Jared. I might find some comfort here. 4 is called This Is Heaven. That's got to be a good one. 5 is Angels Behind You. Not in front of you, behind you. Number 6 is called Look to Him. And I'm guessing that's God. 7 is Here I Am. Hey, here I am. It's me, Jared. 8 is entitled If I Could Be There. Okay. 9 is called Innocent Ones. That's not about any of these ladies in Salt Lake City. And 10 is called Alibaba. No, 10 is called Unlisted. So yeah, I mean, he dropped off on that last one. He's like, I couldn't think of a title for it, but it's called Unlisted. So at some point, we're going to need to dig into this album. I'm sorry, Jared. You put it out. You should be proud of it. I have no albums to my name. 2008. It was a different time back then. So it's like 16 years since. I don't think, according to Apple Music and Spotify, he has not had a second album. So I'm so happy to be able to potentially revitalize his music career with this mention on So Bad It's Good. I hate to tease you with this right at the beginning of this recap because this is about the ladies, but man, I want to live in Jared Osman's musical world. It's Jared Osman and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Okay, so this episode 6, Mafia Wives and Bad Vibes, starts as we always start with scenes from all the previous episodes of season 5. And we open up with that intense Salt Lake music of dong, and it's black and white, and you see the snow-capped Salt Lake City mountain and clouds going by it, which remember, Halloween is this week, so it's like already the spooky season vibe. And there's like some violin, and we see like a long stretch of road. And then we see, I believe this is one of the ladies, Bronwyn's house, I believe. And there's like a tracking shot of Bronwyn's house, like kind of to the left and to the right. And then we see the corner of her house. Actually, there are not scenes from last week's episode. This is actually the start of the episode. And we hear like kind of Godfather type music of like, ding, 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 which is not a good, you guys just listen to it. You'll know what I'm talking about. It's like the Godfather kind of music. Oh, and then we see this dude. He's got this bearded dude. It's still in black and white. He's in a black suit. He's all buff. And it's like, who's this dude? We're hearing this Godfather music, and he's walking up to this house. And I got to tell you, it's like John Wick vibes. It's John Wick vibes. I'm like, uh-oh, is Scheana real? We got to watch out. This guy means business. What is going on? Is this a representative from Alibaba? What is happening? And we see that it's not Bronwyn's house. It's Angie Katzenevas's house. And the reason we finally find this out is because they focus on a piece of art in the house. And it's Angie K and her daughter Electra as a little girl. And then her husband in one of those like page boy Leonardo DiCaprio newsboy hats in a full suit. And if that wasn't good enough, you also have a pony. He has the leash of a pony, and Angie and the little girl are like, kneeling down, and I don't even know why the pony's there. This is talking about a good glamour shot. Like, bring in the pony. Yeah, we need a pony for this shot. So this is a photo. Like I've always told you this 100 times that I want the Scheana Shay, Mike Shay wedding photos that they used to hang on their walls of each other. And I might need this photo as well. This is a beautiful piece of art. And so we hear the doorbell ring, and this big bearded buff dude all in black has his arms crossed, and Angie K's like waving at him. And the guy's like, hey, he's kind of making this like motion like, hey. And I'm like, don't open the door, Angie. This guy's dangerous. She opens the door and she goes, get over here. And I'm like, oh my God, are we meeting the Greek mafia for the first time? And he's like, how are you, Angie K? And she's like, good to see you. I'm Greek. And they hug and kiss. And she goes, come on, I've got a job for you. And I'm like, oh no. Are we talking assassination? What are we talking about? This guy means business. And he's like, how can I help, Angie K? And Angie's like, what we're doing is we're summoning these ladies for a little sit down with the boss. And the guy's like, we can do that, Angie K. We can do that, yes. And I'm like, oh my God, a sit down. This is like in The Godfather when they sat the 5 families down together and divvied up the land in which they were going to be like gangsters in. He's like, I can do that. I can summon these ladies. And Angie just gives him a knowing look. In a voiceover, Angie K says, this thing that I have with my friends is not always copacetic. I've had my eye on them for a while. And let me tell you, no one is innocent. Dun, dun, dun. This is fucking Greek mafia business. And then we see shots of like Lisa Barlow, still all in black and white. Sorry, no, a shot of Mary Cosby. She's wearing big sunglasses. And like on the right side of the sunglass has like a leopard, like an emblazoned jeweled leopard on the right side of the sunglasses. So the Godfather music is playing. Mary Cosby's picture comes up. And there's like a photograph of it. And it's like, and then we see the shot of Heather Gay from last season when the Easter Bunny's in the back of her car. And Heather gets in and gets scared by the Easter Bunny. And then it's another snapshot. And then we cut to Lisa Barlow screaming, going, I did not fucking do that. And then another camera shot. And then we see Meredith Marks from last season in the finale when she's with the other ladies on the beach and she's saying, this is also fucked up. This is fucked up. Another snapshot. Ah! And then the guy that we're supposed to think is Greek mafia, he's like, we'll get them taken care of, Angie K, as soon as possible. We'll take care of it. In a talking head, Angie K goes, but they're like family. And then she escorts the mafia guy out. He's like, she's like, take care. Good to see you. He's like, good to see you, Angie K. Greek forever. In a talking head, Angie goes, and there's nothing more important than family. Whoa. Whoa. And then all of a sudden it turns the color. We see this man walking away from Angie K's house. And Angie in the voiceover goes, so I'm going to make them an offer they can't refuse. And when she goes, an invitation to my 25th wedding anniversary party. You guys, it was a big switcheroo. They're not going to get knocked off after all. This is fun. And we see this gentleman putting on like kind of like flyers on each one of these ladies' doors. He goes over to Whitney's place and it says, wanted for bath bombing, Whitney Rose, aka the Crystal Crusader. The boss lady summons you at Angie plus Sean's anniversary party, March 6th, 6 p.m. And so we got that invitation on the door. And Angie in the voiceover goes, the theme? And we flash back to last season when Lisa Barlow is telling Angie, going, Meredith thinks you're in the Greek mafia. And Angie K has those big windshield wiper sunglasses, you know, that are like just huge. It like covers, it goes down to her like lower lip. That's how big the sunglasses are. So Angie goes, the theme is mob wives. Waka waka. And then we see that Mary Cosby says, wanted for commentary that cuts deep. Mary Cosby. And then Heather's is wanted for being a bad Mormon. Oh, I wasn't aware that Heather was Mormon. Interesting. I hope she talks about that on the show someday. So that is Heather's. And then Bronwyn's is wanted for overdressing. Heyo. All right. And that's the opening. And then we see the opening, like little title card with Angie K in the middle. I still don't know why they don't use the new cast photo. So we start in the episode. It's colorful. It's the choral music, the long shot of road, snow-capped mountains, fun music. Dun, 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 dun. And this mafia dude that Angie K wants us to think is a mafia dude rings on the next doorbell. And it's Lisa Barlow and her son. And Lisa goes, hi. And he tapes the flyer up on her door. And she's like, what is this? And hers says, wanted for loose lips, Lisa Barlow, AKA Baby Gorgeous. And Lisa immediately goes, is that my best picture? Because it's a picture of her like mid scream, like mid Lisa Barlow shout. And Lisa's like, oh my gosh, that's too funny. And then John Barlow, her husband's like, who is that? And Lisa goes, one of Angie's hitmen. And she's reading it. Boss lady summons you. Anniversary party. And John's like, wow, you got invited. I like John. He's always so even keeled. He's like, wow, you got invited. And Lisa's like, I know. I'm shocked. And John's like, so am I. And the little son, the heir to the Fresh Wolf Empire, is just kind of walking around. And Lisa's like, I mean, it's nice that she invited me because I thought we were better friends than how it feels lately. And John's like, yeah, have you guys had any type of phone calls? And the little son is just watching his mom. He's just watching his mom bemused. Like this kid, gets like, oh, can't believe this. This is wild. He has a can of liquid death water on the, that liquid death water. That's like, it's just water, right? It's just water in a cool can. Anyways, John's like, have you guys had any communication or text or anything since Milwaukee? And Lisa's like, no, this is the most communication we've had since that party. Yeah. In a talking head, Lisa goes, you know, Angie and I were super close for years. And now I don't even know what this friendship is anymore. It's like, I'm talking shit about you behind your back. And then we flash back to last week's episode when Heather Gay and Lisa Barlow are at that little like salt facility where they're putting their feet in salt. And Heather Gay is being that little middleman starting shit all the time. And Heather's relating the story of Angie K telling Heather Gay, saying that Angie told me that my daughter needs me. And she's not just in the room playing video games like she thinks that Lisa Barlow does to her son. And Lisa's like, was pissed. She's like, that's a fucked up thing to say. That's a low blow. In the talking head, Lisa Barlow goes, and then I'm going to invite you to my party. It's like a total mind fuck. She tells John, she basically inferred that I was a bad mom. And they have a shot of her son spinning around this toy basketball. And the son's like, ooh, I'm not the one who said it. Heyo. And Lisa goes, and she said, all you do is game. All you do is game. And this kid's spinning this basketball. He's like, hell yeah, I game. I'm a tight ass gamer, mom. And Lisa's like, and we don't pay any attention to you. And her son's like, you're a great mom. You're a great mom. He's like, I've studied my line all night. You're a great mom. And Lisa's like, thanks, Henry. Thank you. And he just like rolling his eyes like, I can't believe I have to do this. And then Henry goes, you guys should box. you you guys should get into the octagon. And Lisa's like, no, that's okay. I'm not into boxing. And Henry goes, yeah, no, get into a ring. And Lisa's like, ha, 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 ha. And then Henry goes, that's what I do with some of my friends. And Lisa's like, oh no, what? And he's like, and John looks like really serious, like, wait, you're boxing your friends? And Lisa goes, there's a part of me that wants to go because it's a big deal. I just don't know how I feel right now. And John goes, well, you can think about it. And then Henry's like, is today Monday? And Lisa's like, yeah. And he goes, we need to FaceTime Jack, Mom. That's their other son who's on his mission. And Lisa's like, oh my God, tin roof rusted. We need to FaceTime Jack. And so remember, you can do, I think, one FaceTime call a week. I don't know all the ins and outs of like the missionary life, but remember, Jack was also dealing with stomach problems. And she was really upset about this on the Milwaukee trip a couple of weeks ago. So they're FaceTiming Jack, right? We hear it ringing, and all of a sudden Jack picks up and he's like, yeah. He's making like a rock and roller face. And obviously they're really happy to see each other. And Lisa's like, ha ha ha, Jack. Ha ha ha. Oh my gosh. Hi. And, Henry's like, hey, dude, I just tell Mom how I box my friends. And Jack's like, yo. And she's like, what are you doing? It looks pretty. Like your backdrop is so pretty, Jack. And he's like, I'm at the finest dining establishment in all of Colombia right now, Mom. And we see like a photo of his food, his half-eaten food, and it's not Taco Bell, so Lisa doesn't recognize it. But it's different. Like I had a lot of friends that went on missions back when I was in high school and college, and it did not seem like this at all. It didn't seem like you would be at the finest establishments of anywhere. So I'm so confused. I think they've really loosened up the rules on missions, but I mean, Colombia, that's pretty cool. And Lisa looks at the food and is like, oh my gosh, it looks so good. And it just looks like a half-eaten bagel and some like fries. And Lisa's like, are you feeling good, Jack? How are you feeling? And John's like, wipe the ketchup off your face, dude. And Jack's like, I feel good. And Lisa's like, Jack, we got your PET scan back and it looks amazing. And he's like, yeah, Mom, I've done every test that I can possibly think of. Lisa goes, Jack's been having some health issues, so I'm going through a lot right now. And we flash back to her talking to the ladies about this, where she's kind of tearing up and going, I just want him better. And Brittany saying, I'll bet it's taking everything you have not to fly down there. And everybody's like, I'm sorry, Lisa. In the scene, Lisa goes, Jack's still going for weekly testing because they haven't figured out exactly what the problem is, but we've ruled out a lot of bad things, which makes me super happy and less stressed. But this is like the worst time to be criticizing my parenting in regards to what Angie K has been spreading around the mean streets of Salt Lake City, And here's the deal. Like, we can make fun of all of these ladies, but most of these ladies, I would say 90% of them seem like amazing moms. So we can't take away the fact that this actually truly probably is a nightmare to have one of your family members, your son, in a foreign country, and then having some sort of health-related issue. It just kind of shows what a solid mom Lisa is, even though she feeds her kids just nonstop fast food. Lisa's like, when I'm trying to do my best with my kid, that's a million miles away. Like, come on. She tells her son on the FaceTime, I stress about you. Like, I get so worried. So keep us posted. And Henry's like, Jack, don't worry. Me and Dad do too. And Lisa's like, all right. Okay, I love you. I love you, Jack. And Lisa goes, Te quiero mucho, Jack. Te quiero mucho. Isn't that what the little Taco Bell dog used to say? Te quiero mucho. So this was a cute family call. And Henry goes, enjoy that burger, Jack. Enjoy that burger. We're about to go to 7-Eleven to get big gulps. Now we make our way over to this place called State Road Tavern. A big SUV pulls up, and it's Whitney coming out. And when he's like, thank you very much. And we see the little Whitney dancing card where she like dances. I'm dancing in my title card. I'm doing a cute little dance. Now, of course, the skinny on Whitney is there's a lot of shit going down. Somebody's potentially trying to destroy her jewelry company, Prism, and she didn't know who was doing it. Was Lisa Barlow doing it? Was Meredith Marks doing it? She thinks it's Lisa, but there's a lot of weird information floating around. And I got to tell you, after Reality Von Tease, I don't really know if I care too much about criminal activity and the mystery when we've got such good characters this season. So I just kind of want to solve it, even though I hear that this kind of goes throughout the entire season. So Whitney is coming into the restaurant. She sits down and she's like, I'm waiting for a guest. What's going on? I'm on my phone now texting. And all of a sudden, we see Meredith Marks, a vision in purple. And she's like, hey, what's going on? It's me, Meredith. And when he's like, how are you, Meredith? I'm good. I can't believe you fucking stole my bath bombs idea. Bath bombs. So they do that great. You know, they do that like kiss on the cheek. Like, thank you for meeting me, Meredith Marks. And Meredith's like, yeah, of course, of course. In the talking head, Meredith goes, I do have reservations meeting with Whitney because you were coming after me and attacking me wrongfully. And we flash back to the Milwaukee trip in the Sprinter van where Whitney goes, do you feel like there's something wrong with my business? And Meredith going, I'm not sitting here trying to figure out your business, Whitney. And Whitney's like, well, you're certainly talking about it. And so obviously things aren't going well. Meredith, of course, just really, really taking that bath bomb thing personally. But Meredith says in a talking head, but I want to give her a chance. I'm studying Judaism right now for my bat mitzvah. And Seth has talked me into giving Whitney a second chance. It's, you know, you got to listen to Whitney. Listen, man, I'm in Columbus, Ohio, working for a big company. And Meredith, what I'm suggesting to you is you go there and you hear her out because she's got giant bazongas. You know what I'm talking about? So Meredith goes, I want to give her a chance to maybe acknowledge her wrongdoings at some point, you know. But if she doesn't, she doesn't. C'est la vie. Whitney tells Meredith, I'll just jump right in. I'm creating an entire collection of bath bombs. And no, she doesn't say that. She goes, I want to apologize for going so hard on you in Milwaukee. So Meredith's like taking this in. And all of a sudden this waitress, you know, just jumps in on the scene. I'm like, come on, lady. This isn't your moment. We got a scene between two housewives right now. So they're doing the whole like, how are you? Good. I'm Candace. Candace, I don't need it. I know, Candace, I love you, but I don't need to know your name. And Whitney, if you care, orders a lager. She's like, I'm actually going to do your lager. And Meredith's like, Grey Goose splash of soda, please. Now, remember, this isn't Real Housewives of Orange County, so I don't need to worry when any of these ladies order an alcoholic beverage. Now, we're trained on Orange County. Anytime any of these ladies, if Shannon Bedore orders a drink, everybody's like, oh my God, Tamara's going to freak out. But not in Salt Lake City. This has not become a problem in Salt Lake City yet. Thank God. Could you imagine? So Mary's got a splash of soda. So they sit there in silence for a second. And Whitney looks like, since Milwaukee, I am starting to see a different picture. So I want to apologize, Meredith, for not giving you the benefit of the doubt. And Meredith kind of takes this in and she's like, I appreciate you, you know, apologizing. I appreciate your accountability. And Whitney goes, because that post was so small and I already knew about it, it felt like someone was intentionally trying to bring it up to hurt me. And Meredith goes, I have to wonder, Whitney, who you think is trying to hurt you? And there's like this tense music playing, like, and Whitney pauses and goes, I think it's Lisa. I think it's Lisa Barlow. And Meredith goes, how? Like Meredith's like, it's fucking me, you idiot. How do you think it? No, it's not Meredith. She goes, how, Whitney? I reached out to someone who knows that account and had them see if they could find it for me who tipped her off and verbally confirmed that it's Lisa Barlow. And Meredith has this kind of straight face, like a Zoiks face, like Zoiks, but it's like a straight face. Like she's not moving her mouth at all, but you can tell in her mind, she's like, Zoiks, Zoiks. In a talking head, Whitney goes, after I went on the podcast and talked about Lisa on Nick Vialli's podcast, Lisa is the one who brought this up to the group behind my back. And we flash back to the Milwaukee trip where Lisa Barlow is telling Meredith, did you see that? And Meredith goes, the social media posts about her jewelry being off of Alibaba. And Lisa going, yeah. Whitney in the talking head goes, Lisa is the one who left the Sunray in Milwaukee. The Sunray is her jewelry from Prism that she gifted all of these ladies with. So that's what the Sunray is. At first I was like, the Sunray? What, you gave her a piece of the sun? It's her jewelry. She left the Sunray in Milwaukee. Now, by the way, anybody at that hotel that got the Sunray, Whitney's Sunray that she gifted Lisa Barlow and left it behind, I'm willing to pay top dollar. Now, according to the show, these retail for about $350 on Alibaba, and I think Whitney marks them up to potentially like $40, which, hey, baby, that's business, whatever. But I'm telling you, I'm willing to go 80 on this. If anybody that actually has this, I'm not talking about a Sunray, I'm talking about this Sunray that was left behind. I would love this for my reality show museum. I think this is a piece of pop culture history. So Whitney's like, Sunray in Milwaukee. And then I got verbal confirmation that Lisa planted the article. And we go back to a couple episodes ago when Up and Adam Newell, who I was just at dinner with, we're going to talk about this in a second, is on speakerphone with Whitney and Justin in the car. And we hear Adam's voice goes, and then I say, does this person have a liquor brand? And they said, yes. And Whitney looks at Justin and Justin's like, oh, I knew it. And Adam's like, and I was like, oh my God. Okay, let's talk about this for a quick second because I talked with Adam about this at dinner. And I do want to say, if you want to hear his version of everything, I want to point you to his podcast episode that you can find on YouTube. And I think it's on podcast as well. It's called Mafia Wives and Bad Vibes, his season 5, episode 6 recap. So he goes over the information that he knows on that one. So I'd like to throw you over to his episode. But basically, what I had been told from him is that there's two separate incidents and conversations, and they Franken edited it to look like they are talking about the jewelry and Lisa Barlow, but it's about something entirely different. And I'm not at liberty to fully say what this is about, but I do. Well, listen, I don't know what's going to come out. And it's just not exactly, there is somebody that has released this information, and it's not Dana Wilkie, who her name has been brought up. And I think Dana Wilkie actually, I think, took credit for some of this, but it is not Dana Wilkie who is actually doing this. It is somebody affiliated. It's not Monica Garcia, but it is somebody affiliated. I don't know if it's ever going to come out on the show, but there is something here that is darkly fascinating. But there's a little bit of Franken editing happening here. And Adam in this scene is actually not talking about Lisa Barlow and the jewelry. So he's already explained more about this. So go check that out. But it's very interesting. And I think Whitney knows this as well. And Adam doesn't want to look like an idiot. And so he was trying to explain his side of the story, but it just shows you what I talked about at the very beginning of how deep this goes behind the scenes with everybody pulling information on everybody else, right? So Whitney in the scene to Meredith goes, it hurts, Meredith. And Meredith is like, she's like, kind of rubber, okay. And she pauses and she's like, I would just keep an open mind and make sure you're dealing with real, credible sources who don't have some other agenda, And I'm like, are you talking about Adam right now? Which, by the way, Adam is friendly with Meredith. Adam's friendly with the Salt Lake cast. So I don't think even Meredith knows she's referring to Adam in any sort of way in this. But Whitney says, I am dealing with credible sources. And Meredith goes, well, I think you should talk to her. I think you should talk to Lisa Barlow. In a talking head, Meredith goes, I don't want to be in the middle of this. I'm trying to prepare for a bat mitzvah. I don't want any part of this. And it just feels like Whitney wants to rally me against Lisa because she feels like, well, Lisa did that to you in the past, so you'll do that to her now. It doesn't work that way. She tells Whitney, what I don't want to see happen is you go down this path with her, Whitney, and then you come to find out it's not her. And when he's like, it's not her. Yeah, no, that I get that, Meredith. One would hope it's not true, but all signs are pointing to her. All signs are pointing to her. She left my son, right? I mean, what the fuck? Come on. Okay, so we pick up after commercial, and we're at we're at my new favorite cast member of the season, Mary flipping Cosby, and she's walking down like her mansion's hallways, and it looks like she's got like a big Darth Vader cloak. It's like this big black fur. She's like, it's like a shot from behind. She's just walking down this long hallway, just stepping up steps and walking with purpose. And I'm like, hell yeah, Mary Cosby, what do you got for me this week? And she comes into the room and she's smiling. She goes, hi. And we see her son, Robert Jr. And you know how I was talking about how Robert Jr. admitted that he got married in a real sheepish way last season? I believe this is his wife, and they're both wearing what looks to be sleeping bags. They look like they're wearing nylon sleeping bags. It's like all over his shoulders. The lady has like a hood on, a hat. Like they look like they're hiding in plain sight walking up these stairs. And Mary's like, hey, what's up? And the girl kind of waves at Mary, and Mary's like, where you been? And the son is slurring. He's like, I was at a friend's house. And Mary's like, when did you start not answering? I called you and you didn't answer. And he's like, it must have not went through. And now we went into the history of Mary Cosby's son last week, and it is just so tragic. So scenes like this, even though it appears to, like there's a little comic levity, it's not comic levity at all, because this man is going through something, which I believe to be drug related, obviously. And he's like, it must have not went through, Mom. And Mary gives him a look like, come on, the phone didn't go through. And he's like smiling at his mom, and the wife, the little girl, she's just like hiding her head, and it's tense. In a talking head, Mary goes, Robert Jr. has changed big time since this girl's came into his life. And we're blaming the girl. It's always the girl's fault. It takes two to tango, but I understand a mother's urge to do that. Also, I got to give it up. Mary Cosby in this talking head, she looks like 70s Diana Ross. She's got this big crystal beaded like headdress on, beautiful white flowing. I don't know how to describe clothing, but there's like see-through on the shoulders, but it is a look. It is giving glamour. And we flash back to a scene from last season when Mary tells her son, hey, why am I hearing rumors that you're married? And the son, Robert Jr. goes, oh no. And she's like, is it true? And he goes, I mean, kinda, yeah. And Mary Cosby's I forgot. She like cries in this scene. And she's like, sorry, I'm crying. Oh my God. And it's so, you're like, God. Also, imagine getting married and then kind of sheepishly telling your mom, like, yeah, it's kind of true. I got hitched. Anyways, in this scene, Mary says, I'm having company, so just try not to reappear. And the girl shakes her head. Yeah, like, okay, you got it. In a talking head, Mary says, he doesn't listen to me like he used to. I feel like he leans more towards her. I want to be that person that he comes to. If he needs someone to talk to, I have his best interests. Mary tells him, next time I call, you answer your phone. He's like, I will. And he's like walking up the stairway, and we see this beautiful, beautiful gold frame. And it's like Robert Jr. as a kid, and like a chunky sweater and a newsboy cap. And you're just like, wow. And then he goes into his room, and over his room, the door of his room, it says Robert Jr. in like wood block lettering. So, I mean, there are parts of this house that seem to be a shrine to her son, which is so dark. But also I want to point out something that like, how interesting is it that like, we have Lisa Barlow dealing with her son on a mission and worrying about her son. And then we have Mary Cosby watching her son go through what we believe to be his drug addiction and not knowing how to handle this and how to deal with this. And Mary's like, just, answer your phone so I don't worry. And he's like, I will. And he's like, love you. And the girl goes, love you. And she goes, love you too, baby. And they disappear into his room. And Mary says, I also feel like it's a blessing that he's home, because I do worry about him. And I'm thankful that I can see him every day, as opposed to him being somewhere else, not knowing what he's doing. Like, at least he's at home, and it's always safety at home. I do want to point out Robert Sr. has not made any sort of appearance on this show for a long time. But, no matter what you feel or think about Mary Cosby, your heart goes out to her in this scene. And this is where these commonalities that we can even understand in our own lives. Like, we all have family that we care for and worry for. We might not all be rich. We might not all have like a closet full of mannequin heads with like hundreds and thousands of dollars in like fancy clothing, but we all have families that we worry about. So all of a sudden we hear a doorbell chime. And she opens the door, and folks, it's Bronwyn. Mary's like, Bronwyn, hi. And Bronwyn brings this huge orchid arrangement. And Mary's like, oh my God, that is my favorite. Oh my God. And Bronwyn's like, oh, good. I'm so happy to hear this. It makes me so happy. I had champagne for you. And Bronwyn's like, yay, look at me guessing right on your favorite flower. And Mary's like, I know, isn't this gorgeous? Thank you. This is Mary Cosby just being so agreeable and loving to most of the cast this season. She's like, thank you, Bronwyn. Bring it in for a hug. And Bronwyn's like, and look at this beautiful house, Mary, that you live in. Oh my God, everything's so white and pristine. Of course, just like up a floor, we have her son and her son's wife, literally wearing sleeping bags. So she comes into the main room and sees one of her, and Bronwyn's like, I have so many dogs, Mary. This would be trashed if this was my house. And Mary Cosby's like, don't say that, Bronwyn. We cut to Bronwyn's dogs from a previous episode barking, all fighting with each other. And Bronwyn's like, you little stinker, it's air jail for you, Mr. Dog. Anyways, we go into the kitchen and Bronwyn's like, oh my gosh, Mary, did we just become best friends? I have a blue kitchen too. And Mary's Cosby is completely blue. Bronwyn's kitchen we see as well, different shade of blue, but same vibe. And Bronwyn says, as soon as I saw Mary Cosby in that white Dolce & Gabbana coat on the very first night I met her at Lisa Barlow's Bezos party, I felt this connection. She has what it takes to be friends with me. And we cut back to that where Mary Cosby is giving Bronwyn a compliment in her that red heart couture outfit going, I love your coat. And Bron goes, you know I love yours, Mary, because I have the same one. And Mary's laughing. I love that. I love that. And Bronwyn's like, we're going to get along just fine, Mary. And this Bronwyn, like I said last week, this is a housewife. This is a housewife fully formed in the first season. We don't get to see housewives fully formed around these parts very much. And Bronwyn, man, fitting in, it fits like an OJ Simpson glove. It fits better than an OJ Simpson glove. It is a perfect fit. And Bronwyn, if you think about it like a war, she is just collecting soldiers all around her. She's bringing an orchid to Mary. She's got Mary on her side. She's not afraid to take on big pharma in the sense of like Heather Gay and cast members like Lisa Barlow and say how she really feels. She is confident, but she also has this amazing backstory with the story about her daughter and Lisa Barlow from last week's episode. So my God, the more Bronwyn, the better. Sometimes it takes me a while to warm up to Housewives, right? It takes sometimes a couple of seasons, but I always just didn't think that the season was going to work because of Monica Garcia. And I always thought we would be in the shadow of Monica Garcia, right? And I feel bad saying this, but man, it's not in the shadow of Monica Garcia. Of course, we keep referring to her, but we got new stories. We got amazing women. Bronwyn is just incredible. Anyways, Bronwyn goes, I love Mary's house. I would move in. Well, don't take Robert Jr.'s, room. Mary says, well, what have you been doing? What have you been up to, Bronwyn? And she's like, you know what? I don't know how fast news travels. In this group of ladies, when we were coming home from Milwaukee, Lisa and I were just chatting at the airport and kind of stumbled on, how do I say this? The fact that she is very close friends with my daughter's grandparents. But my daughter doesn't know her grandparents on her dad's side. She's never met them. So that's a little. And Mary Cosby immediately goes, yeah, Robert Jr. hasn't either. And Bronwyn's like, really? Really? And Mary's like, yeah, never. My mom, he has never met my mom. He's never met your mom. He's never met my dad. My dad passed too. Robert went to a good school. Every year they would have grandparents' day, Mary says. And every grandparents' day, he would wake me up and say, Mom, can I please stay home today? And Rowan's like, of course. It's hard to be the only one. Yeah, I understand that with Gwen too, my daughter. And Mary says, and Robert Sr.'s parents, they're dead. So, and Bronwyn's like, he didn't have anybody to bring. And Mary's like, yeah, yeah. And Bronwyn goes, so you and your mom are not close. And Mary's like, no. And all of a sudden, you guys, within this last minute, this season, these last 5 episodes, we've learned more about Mary Cosby than we have in the previous seasons. She's opened up so much. I mean, just think about Robert Jr. and where he is now and how, family is potentially affected, how he goes through life. And what's so interesting is that we have not mentioned Mary's church at all. Remember how in the first season, that was actually a storyline, and Whitney's father, who has never appeared again, even went to Mary's church, and we had that whole scene of them like celebrating on stage together and feeling the power of the Spirit. No church at all, but I'm kind of okay with that at this moment because we're learning more about Mary and her family and what makes her tick. It gives us kind of inroads to how Mary has become who she is and her own family, right? So Mary tells Bronwyn, my mom is all about herself. It's about her and her needs and her wants and what's going on in her life. And Bronwyn's like, okay. In a talking head, Mary goes, my mom wasn't present. She never bought food. It wasn't like we couldn't afford the food. She just didn't buy it. We would have stuff like cabbage in the fridge and like cranberry juice, things that didn't match. And I just wanted a bowl of cereal, Mary says. Wow. First off, cabbage and cranberry juice, don't knock it till you tried it because that's disgusting. But it says something, right? How material possession driven Mary Cosby is seemed and how she collects all of these very fancy things. And it kind of makes sense when you think about what she was given as a child or what she wasn't given as a child. Things didn't add up. And I think a lot of Mary's life, there are pieces of it that don't add up, or even the way Mary speaks at times, she'll say 2 things that make complete sense. And the third thing's like completely batshit. And now you're like, okay, maybe I see why things are the way they are. So she continues. She says, so I was going to make sure that Robert Jr. always had his needs met because I didn't have that. So she tells Bronwyn, I don't judge him. I don't. I'm dealing with things with him right now, Robert Jr. But he's still my baby. The thing that I learned with Robert, you always have to be real with your kids. You have to tell them like it is. It toughens them. And this is so sad because we know what Robert Jr. is going through. And Mary obviously trying to put the best face on things for Bronwyn, but you can just imagine what Mary's thinking about in her mind. And Bronwyn's like, well, Mary, can you raise me then? Because I feel like I'm getting some funky energy from people and I don't know how to give it back funky. So just walk me through it, Mary. Give me advice. And Mary's like, just mirror them, Bronwyn, mirror them. It's a vibe. I love Mary Cosby giving advice how to be a housewife and how to handle other housewives. Just tell people they look like bobbleheads. Bronwyn goes, I am excited, Mary, about Angie's anniversary party, though, but I'm also a little nervous. It'll be the first time I've seen Heather, and I'm in a very on the cusp of being done with the bullshit. Can I say bullshit in your house, Mary? I know it's a house of God here, which Mary, I mean, she is buttering Mary up like nobody's business because Mary's like, you're damn right. This is a house of God. Yeah, but I am going to let you say words like bullshit in here because it's Mary's place. But she's like, I know it's a house of God here. And Mary just like goes, oh, and we hear like angels chant like, oh, Mary loves it. Bronwyn says, and then I saw Lisa, and she told me that Heather repeated something to her about Angie. And Mary's like, what? Zoinks? And we flash back to Lisa in a scene going, I guess Angie's upset. And like made a dig at how like I'm a bad mom, apparently. I was really upset, Bronwyn. And Bronwyn says to Lisa, there's a lot of discussion about who said what, and it's never nice. And a lot of the time, it's Heather. Oh, shit. We getting into the bad Mormon of it all. Mary in this scene goes, what I do know about Heather, she can be two-faced. And I've called it from day one. I love Mary. It's like, she can be two-faced. And that might come from the inbreeding. I don't know. But Bronwyn's like, oh. And Mary goes, I went ziplining the other day with Heather and Lisa. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing physical activity with these ladies. And it's brought up, Bronwyn. And we flash back to that ziplining at the end of last week's episode where Heather Gay's like, she's kind of being snarky about Lisa behind her back. And Lisa's like, she said, I'm a bad mom. She insinuated I'm a bad mom. When Heather told me, I cried. And Mary Cosby turns to Heather and goes, that's kind of two-faced, Heather. And Heather, remember, she had all the mud shit on her face. For some reason, she didn't clean herself up at all for the scene. So she's giving like Mary this look like, what did you say? But there's just like shit on her lips and shit on her eyebrow. Like there's no way nobody gave Heather Gay a compact. Like I almost feel like this is on purpose. Anyways, Bronwyn to Mary's like, exactly. And Mary goes, why would Heather tell Lisa something rude that Angie said about her? And why do you think that's okay? You got two faces, Heather, and you need to work on that because I don't do two-faced people. I need one face at one time. That's such a good rule of thumb. Always deal with one face at one time. You get 2, 3, 4 faces. That's too much. Anyways, Mary says, Heather leads with lies. Like, I don't even care if your truth is ugly. Just don't lie. I just think Angie should know, Bronwyn says, I just think Angie should know, like I would want to know if somebody was mad at me about something I didn't know they knew, right? And Mary's like, yeah, I feel like once you become, and then a phone rings and Mary's like, phone? And Mary goes, really? My phone? Like Mary Cosby seems genuinely scared. Her phone's ringing. Like, what the hell? My phone? My phone's ringing? And Bronwyn goes, Mary, do you have a landline in this house of the Lord in the year of our Lord 2024? You have a landline? And Mary's like, of course I have a landline. I have everything. And Bronwyn's like, who calls you on a landline? And Mary's like, somebody's calling. And they're laughing about let's laugh about landlines. I love rich people. Landlines. That always did frustrate me. My mom always I was like, Mom, you got your cell phone now. We don't need, and there's something about a different generation where they're like, no, we need the landline. We need a landline, period. Okay, so we go to commercial, right? We come back. We see the snow-capped mountains. We hear the angel voices. Ah! And then all of a sudden we hear Greek folk music. Dun, 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 dun. And the only reason I know it's Greek folk music is because I have my closed captioning on and it literally says Greek folk music. I wouldn't have known otherwise. I would have just been like, oh, it's music. No, folks, it's Greek folk music. It's dun, 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 dun. And we see it's Angie K's place and her doormats say Gangsta's Paradise. And it has flowers. I've been spending most of my life in an endless gangster's paradise. In the mean streets of Salt Lake, you are going to pay the price. Keep living most of my life in a Greek mafia paradise. We see that there's like bars set up in Angie K's house. Now, remember, Angie K is one to throw parties at her place. Remember when she threw that birthday party for Coach Shaw, for Jen Shaw back in the day? And we see the signage and it says Mafia Cocktails. So they've made a bunch of fun cocktails just for this anniversary event. One's called Greek 25 Fizz. One's called Bramble, one's called Waterboarding, one's called Whiskey Sour, and one's just a dirty martini. So a lot of drink options. We see shrimp. We see a huge charcuterie board. We see champagne with Angie and her husband's face on the champagne bottle in the shape of $100 bill. And we see a big cake that says 25, and then it has Mafia, has the Greek flag and Mafia on the side. And, it like the cake also has what looks to be a cigar, and then just piles of money with Angie and her husband's face on it. So this is a very fancy cake. We see pictures of Angie K, one when she was first married and one now in the same kind of pose. And Angie K looks beautiful. She looked beautiful then. She looks beautiful now. So there's all of these photos around to showcase their love. And Angie's like, I wish I had you guys 25 years ago on my wedding day. She has like a 3-person glam squad. And Angie's like, can you imagine how much better I would have looked? I mean, I did my own makeup. And then Electra, her daughter, comes in and Angie's like, hi, are you going to rally for tonight? And the daughter's like, hopefully. And Angie K tells her daughter, girl power, huh? Girl power, huh? And her daughter Electra just pauses and goes, please never say that again. Please, just never say that again. Well, you know, the kids are rocking and a rolling and a bopping. Please never say that again. And Angie goes, what should I say instead of girl power, Electra? And Angie goes, what's the new thing? Baddie? And then her daughter goes, oh, Mom, and covers her face with her hands. Angie K, I am so appreciative that you shouted out the podcast. What, you know, baddie, that's amazing. Yeah, baddies is the new word. That is what all the kids are saying. We ain't the daddy gang, we're the baddie gang. Also, I want to thank Sophie's sister, who gave a huge shout out to the podcast during her wedding speech. And that's the kind of guerrilla marketing that this podcast needs. I really urge everybody that's getting married or any kind of forum like that to be able to plug the podcast. I didn't even have to pay for that. I was like, do I owe Sophie's sister money? Amanda, for doing that? She shouted out the full name of the podcast, including my name. You can't pay for that kind of advertising. It's amazing. Anyways, the daughter's like, oh my God, Mom, you're so embarrassing. And Electra's like, oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So now we go to all the houses to see these ladies getting, you know, done up for the event. And we're over at Lisa Barlow's, and John is asking Lisa, what are you thinking about wearing? You got so many different options. And Lisa's like, she said mob wives. I don't know. I kind of love this one. This little dress with a fur, or this little Gautier thing with like a really sick fur. And he's like, okay. Or maybe this little Dolce dress. And he's like, that is little, that dress. And she's like, I could do that with a fur. And then I love this little Gucci dress. And he goes, with a fur, right? She goes, with a, and she goes, she doesn't understand. He's kidding. He's like, with a fur. Yeah. And he goes, yeah, got to have a fur. So we cut out of there. Then we go to our next house. I love the round robin vibe when like housewives get ready and we have to see each one of their houses. And we have Whitney getting glam. And Whitney goes, just give me a fierce mob wife kind of bitch vibe. Do that on my face. And the makeup artist goes, is everyone going to be there at the party tonight? And Whitney's like, yeah, I freaking have to see Lisa Barlow though. I'm kind of nervous. And they just keep like making her up. And she's like, things have gotten to a new low of nastiness. And I'm going to stay as far away as I can. Because, you know, Justin, my husband's going to be there. He'll get distracted with the guys. And there's nothing worse than a husband jumping into a fight. And the makeup person's like, you can handle it. I love Whitney. Whitney knows her housewives. Whitney knows what we're talking about in the mean streets of talking about Bravo. She's very up and aware. So, okay. So we have that scene. And now we go on over to Angie K's house. And it says Angie K's Mafia Anniversary Party. And we see one of those old school limos pop up. It's like an old classy, like one of those really kind of mob type limos. And we see Angie K's father, who is dressed like a mafia don. This guy is straight out of The Godfather. And he's walking up there with his lady, and he opens the door and there's like the mafia music playing. And Sean, Angie's husband, is like, hey guys, how are ya? And he's like, welcome. And Angie comes out, look at these mobsters. Wow, you guys look amazing. Don't kill me. Okay, all right. And she's like, oh my goodness, movie stars. So people are starting to arrive. Angie and Sean are greeting everybody. We see Whitney and Justin get out of their car. The Greek folk music starts playing again. Dun, 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 dun. And Angie's talking to some people and go, you know what he said at my wedding? He said, I knew Angie $25,000 ago. And they all laugh. So Whitney comes in and Angie's like, hey, there's Honey, my honey pot. Look at you. Oh my gosh, you look gorgeous. And Justin's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? We see Mary Cosby getting out, looks stunning in red. Mary comes in like a fur and this red outfit. And Mary sees Angie K. And Mary's like, oh my God, look at you. I mean, Mary just excited about everything. She goes, look at you, Angie K. Look at you. She goes, look at you. I'm so proud. I am so proud you put a dress on. I love when friends are proud of friends for like, you know, putting clothes on. And then we see Bronwyn. Bronwyn is in another really looks like a blue version of Big Bird. I don't mean that as a slam because obviously this is like couture and she has like this beautiful aquamarine and black scarf over her head and they're hugging. And Bronwyn goes, I'm very underdressed. I didn't realize it was black tide, mobster. I was going for like my Todd father died. Remember Todd, her husband. I'm Todd. I invented the Palm Pilot. And Bronwyn's like, and I'm still mourning Todd, the mobster. We see people looking at all the pictures. Heather Gay comes up. She's in a fur coat. And she comes in. She's like, happy anniversary, receipts, proof, timeline, screen. No, she doesn't say that, but I just hear it every time she enters the scene now. So she gives Angie K this gift and Angie's like, oh, thanks for the punch bowl. And she's like, every Greek needs a punch bowl. And then she's like, oh my God, we kind of have matching hair. Oh my God, we look gorgeous. And then finally we have Meredith Marks, who's in these like kind of fur black boots. She has the black sunglasses. I mean, looks very chic. Sean greets her and Meredith's like, thank you for including me, Sean. Thank you. Okay. He's like, yeah, come on in. And now, this is kind of weird, right? Because of certain things that she has said about Sean and Angie K's relationship last season. And all of a sudden they do a rewind, like, and we go to Angie K and Sean's house earlier. And Angie K says, Sean, I'm seeing this different side of Meredith. And we see Sean in his classic baseball cap. And he's like, you know how I feel about that. And she's like, I know, Sean, I know. He goes, the last thing I would want is to look over and see Meredith in the corner. And she's like, yeah, I know. She created havoc for us, Angie K. And Angie's like, I just want to move forward. And he goes, well, I'll support it, but maybe we do hire security. So if she starts shit, I can say security, and kick her ass out. I like that there's potentially like snipers everywhere. Like, can we get a Code West? Code West, do we have you? Okay, all clear. Meredith, we're on the lookout for Meredith. She's probably screaming about bath bombs. Okay, all clear on the right. All clear. This is great. Anyways, back in this scene, Meredith, tells you, thank you for including me. Because remember, that whole monologue in Palm Springs last season was like, you want to talk about their husband? We can talk about their husband. Fuck off. She was referring to Sean. So Sean's like super chill though and casual. He's like, yeah, no, of course. Good to see you, Meredith. Good to see you. And Angie sees Meredith. Oh, Meredith, thank you for coming. You look so mafia and gorgeous. That's, by the way, tomorrow at work, everybody tell your friends when they come in, go, oh my God, you look so mafia and gorgeous. And just see what kind of look you get from them. Talking to Meredith goes, after last year, when it was made abundantly clear that I would not be welcome in the Katchanavish home. And we flash back to Angie talking to Sean again, saying, Meredith was alluding to the fact that she could destroy our family and that you actually like men. And Sean's like, what? And he goes, she's not welcome in this home. I don't want to be around her at all. So yeah, there's reason to potentially not want Meredith in your house. Meredith continues in the talking head going, I'm surprised that I was invited this year. I guess this is a step forward, but I will say that Mob Wives is a strange theme to me. It should be more like the Village People. You know what I'm talking about? It's fun to stay at the YMCA. If you're Sean, I'm kidding. It's just a weird theme to celebrate your anniversary. I don't really see it as an expression of love, but I guess this is how she celebrates her family. Damn, really snarky in that talking head. Anyways, Angie cheers as Meredith and goes, cheers to new beginnings together. And Meredith goes, making it smoother sailing, which we have to talk about, she says to Whitney. She goes, which we have to talk about. And Meredith goes, Whitney, you got to deal with Lisa. Like, you have to talk to her. I love Meredith moving the scene along of like, I was told by producers that I have to bring this up before Lisa gets here. And she's like, you have to, Whitney. It's imperative you bring it up. And when he gets, I'm planning on it. And Meredith goes, cheers to that. Let's get that done. That's top of the agenda tonight. And Meredith goes, I'll feel a lot better. I don't like being in the middle of that. You know. I mean, Meredith being a good friend to Lisa, going like, listen, I don't want to be the middleman. I don't want to know this information. I need you to talk to her. And when he's like, yeah, I know, Meredith. And Meredith goes, and you'll feel better, Whitney. And she's like, yeah, we'll all feel better, Whitney. We'll all feel better. And when he goes, trust me, I do not like this feeling I have inside. We have tense music, dun 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 dun, and we open up the door. These like black leather boots pop out of it with a fur coat. Guess what? It's Lisa Barlow and a fur coat. Her and her husband John walk up the steps, and it's just this tense music, dun 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 dun. And Sean greets John like, welcome, what's going on? Lisa surveys the surroundings like, oh my God, so cute. And then when he's like, there she is. Speaking of the devil, it's Lisa Barlow. And Meredith goes, there you go. There you go. There you go. And Lisa turns away from Sean. It's like, good to see you, Sean. Good to see you. And we cut to commercial. So we come back from commercial and Lisa is still walking into the room. She's like, hi, what's going on, Heather? Gay. And greets Heather. She's like, we're all in black. And Lisa asks Heather, are you wearing Versace? And it turns out Heather's wearing Mugler. What kind of pay bump did Heather get this season? What's going on at Beauty Lab and Laser? Are we about to get a spinoff? We're wearing Mugler? I'm like, did Old Navy have a Mugler fall line? And Heather goes, but Whitney's in Versace, Lisa. And Lisa goes, me too. She's not the only one that can wear Versace. Me too. So Mary Cosby gets handed a drink. Angie's having a drink. Meredith comes up to Lisa and John and Heather. And Lisa's like, oh my gosh, Meredith. Hi. So we get the hug. Everybody looks gorgeous. Angie K says in a talking head, with Lisa and I, it's a little awkward right now. And Angie says hi to John, but not yet Lisa. And Angie says, but it's friends for 15 years. It would have been wrong for me not to include her in my Mafia anniversary celebration. And I really would have been hurt had she not shown up. Like it would have been the beginning of the end for us. And then all of a sudden, folks, we see Brittany Bateman walk in with Jared Osmond, except it's not Jared Osmond. It's a new guy that kind of looks like Jared Osmond. He also kind of looks like Jason Sudeikis in Ted Lasso, but he's got the full beard, not just the mustache. Anyways, they even have matching outfits, Brittany and this new dude. They're in like this kind of maroon. He's in a maroon and black tux. She's in a maroon fur jacket. And Sean greets him at the door like, hey, I'm Brittany, Sean. How are you? I used to date Jared Osmond, but this isn't him at all. It's so nice to meet you. And they see Brittany come in with a new guy and they're like, oh my God, who's that? Who's that? And then we see that this guy, his name's Aaron. He's like, hey, Sean, this is Aaron. I'm Aaron. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And Heather goes, that's Aaron. I know him. He's my friend. And who he's with? Who's he? He's with Brittany. That's Brittany, Heather says. And so Bronwyn also knows Aaron, and Bronwyn's like, hello, Aaron. Oh my gosh. And Heather goes up like, oh my God, we know each other. Oh, hi, it's good to see you, Aaron, Heather says. And everybody's like kissing each other, saying, oh, this is dapper. Oh, everybody looks good. Heather asked the guy, how do you guys know each other? And Aaron's like, well, we met a while back. And Brittany lets us know in a talking head that Aaron is someone that I met on a dating app. Well, Jared and I were broken up. And she's introducing to the other girls. She's like, this is Aaron, not Jared. It's Aaron. In the talking head, she says, so in times like this, when Jared and I are broken up, I wipe away a tear, hit the next button, and then start dating immediately. I love that she literally says when this happens with Jared, like this is a common occurrence, but it does not get Brittany Bateman down. Brittany just extends her phone plan and starts getting on the apps. She's like, hey, she goes, sometimes I'll have 3 dates a night. I'm a busy lady. I'm sorry, folks. I need to know every fucking thing about Brittany Bateman right now. She'll sometimes goes on 3 dates a night. How many people live in Salt Lake City? We got to pray that Brittany never moves to Orange County because according to like there's only like 4 dudes that live in Orange County, and one of them's Jim Bellino. I mean, it's too much. It is literally Brittany Bateman. This is what I'm saying. Bronwyn amazing, Brittany amazing as well. Just a different kind of amazing. So let's learn a little bit about Brittany Bateman before she was on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And if you do a quick Google search, you can see that there is a bio on imdb.com. IMDb, the international movie database. There is a Brittany Bateman section because she is an actor, Brittany. This is her bio. It says Brittany Bateman is most known for her role as Kelly Powers in The RM. Her most recent role as Tori Spelling's best friend in The Mistletones, and her lead role in Mobsters and Mormons. She has played leading and principal roles in 14 other motion pictures. In addition to film, Bateman has shot 46 national commercials and has worked as a model, voiceover actress, an actor on Broadway, a professional dancer, and as a recording artist. Bateman was raised in California as Brittany Martin. An artist from childhood, she quickly became part of the family business, touring in a musical style review with her parents and 4 siblings. Upon earning her BFA and graduating the top of her class, she landed a recording contract with Disney, singing the famous songs Part of Your World and Celebrate the Magic of Disney. She was then employed in Japan for a year, working for Tokyo Disneyland and shooting commercials, filming Japanese soap operas, and modeling. Bateman made her Broadway debut playing Ellen in the national Broadway tour of Miss Saigon. Holy moly! She went on to star in several productions at Robert Redford's Sundance Theater, playing Nancy and Oliver opposite Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future. She also premiered the first ever English version of the French musical The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, playing Catherine Deneuve's character opposite Maureen McGovern. Bateman is the owner of a very successful entertainment production company called Pure Productions, co-founder of Groove Merchants and co-founder of Starwood Development Group. She is also a development agent with Summit Sotheby's International Realty in Park City, Utah. Holy moly, you guys. And she has a whole acting reel. I mean, she acted with Dame Tori Spelling. She has a whole reel. You can go to IMDb and watch this. This Brittany Bateman is the real deal. But now I'm a little concerned, like how much of Brittany's story is real? How much of this is real? And then when you throw the Jared Osman into this, it is wild. But here are some of the films. She's in The Last Straw, a film called Friend Request, a film called Skinwalker Ranch, a film called Disjointed Custody, a film called The Mistletoes, The Yankles. What is The Yankles? The 11th Hour, Forever Strong, Believe, Love Surreal, Mobsters and Mormons, Sons of Provo, Pixel Perfect. Listen, this is a working actor. I just haven't heard of most of these movies. And then when you search her name, there's another story that comes up about her ex-husband. And it says major drama has been unraveling for Brittany Bateman as she handles her divorce proceedings. She used to be married to John Scott Underwood, but they've since called it quits. Brittany's a familiar face to reality TV lovers, Salt Lake City. Her divorce from John might have been finalized last year in October, but certain details of their toxic marriage are barely coming to the surface now. According to Brittany, married life was extremely rocky for a while before they decided to go their own separate ways. Here's what we know. And here are the claims. This is from a Daily Mail article against John Scott Underwood. Based on a statement obtained by the Daily Mail, it seems Brittany truly went through the ringer while she was married. The ex-couple was legally wed for 6.5 years, but during that time, things were pretty difficult for Brittany behind closed doors. She described John as being very controlling and abusive. Apparently, John wanted the final say when it came to Brittany's perfume, makeup, clothing, and other beauty products. Kanye Munch. He wanted power over Brittany's appearance, whether she was in his presence or out somewhere without him. Brittany claims he dictated which nail polish colors she was allowed to wear and how many days per week she worked out at the gym. Financial control was happening as well because Brittany claims she had to tell John about every dollar she would spend. Brittany's social life was impacted just as much. She says he manipulated her social schedule to control who she spent time with, including her own children and other family members. According to Brittany, she wasn't allowed to make direct eye contact with other other men in public. She wasn't allowed to look through any of John's personal belongings, including his phone, his drawers, or his safe. And when it came to social media usage, she had to be the first person to comment on all of his posts as quickly as possible. Oh my God. Now, John isn't ready to admit to any of these accusations against him. Randy S. Kesty is John's attorney. He released a statement in defense of John saying, quote, "This is just one of many vexatious cases for which Miss Underwood has had the impetuous, often making false and exaggerated claims. At least 3 prior cases which she was behind have already been dismissed." Now, one of the most disturbing details of all comes down to Brittany and John's sex life. So get the kids out of the room if you're listening to this with your family. She says she was expected to, quote, "submit to sexual intercourse on demand, sometimes several times a day, and prohibited her from ever complaining about it." Brittany claims against John are alarming to say the least. This is from a TV show's ace.com article, but he was making her submit to sexual intercourse multiple times a day. But then the wild part is he prohibited her from ever complaining about it. This is dark shit. But that's what I'm saying. When it comes to Brittany Bateman, we don't know barely anything about her. I mean, that acting resume alone, I mean, she did a lot of acting work. And you guys, anyways, back to this scene when she brings this new guy into the fold, this guy, Aaron, and Heather lets us know, yeah, me and Aaron, we go way back. And I'm like, what does that mean, Heather Gay? She's like, yeah, Aaron and I go way back. And they're like, do you really? And Aaron's like, yeah, like 5 or 6 years. Yeah. In a talking head, the producer asked Heather, you know Aaron? How do you know Aaron? And Heather goes, yeah, we've kissed. Ooh, Aaron and Heather kissing in a tree. Kissing. First come love, second comes marriage, third comes a franchise of Beauty Lab and Laser. So she tells the girls, yeah, we've kissed, me and Aaron. And Brittany's laughing like, ha, 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 ha. And then once again, the producer in the talking head goes, you made out with Aaron? And Heather goes, yeah. And the producer goes, oh my God, what? The producer's like, we got a season, baby. Anyways, Brittany in a talking head goes, I did not know they knew each other. In the scene, Angie K goes, it's Salt Lake City. There's only so many options. We've all mistletoe kissed, you know? What does that even mean? There's mistletoes everywhere. We've all kissed, I mean, inbreeding, right? As Mary Cosby would say. Anyways, Brittany's like, yeah, exactly. Heather says in a talking head, Salt Lake City is very, very small. We've all made out with each other, some more than making out. And she looks down. What does that mean? I mean, are these guys over the clothes, under the clothes? What are we talking about, Heather Gay? Angie tells Brittany, whoa, you move fast, Brittany. Because last we, heard from Brittany, she was really bummed about the Jared Osmond. And then Mary Cosby comes up and tells Aaron, the guy, Mary's like, excuse me. Hi, Jared. How are you? Everybody's like, no. And Aaron's like, this is Aaron. And Mary's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. And Mary's like, hi, Aaron. Nice to meet you. He's like, you too. And Mary's like, okay. And Mary turns around with like wide eyes going, oh my God. And she's like, okay. In a talking head, Mary goes, who's Aaron? Who's Aaron? Mary is the voice of the people this season. I'm like, who's Aaron? She goes, who is this guy? She tells Meredith, who is that guy that's with Brittany? And Meredith goes, his name is Aaron. I love that everybody, Meredith's like, his name is Aaron. Aaron kind of looks like Seth now that I'm thinking about it. And Mary tells Meredith, no, it's not. It's Jared. And Meredith goes, wait, is it really? I don't know what Jared looks like. And Mary goes, his name is Jared. He's Jared Osmond. And Meredith goes, Aaron is who he was. And Mary's like, he's right behind you. Turn around. That's his name. Ask him. And Meredith goes, I'm not going to ask him. Mary, are you crazy? I'm not going to ask him. I'm going to look him up. I'm just going to look him up right now. And I guess they look up Jared Osmond, but Mary's like, that's him. And Mary goes, is that the same guy? And then they're both looking at Aaron. And Brittany is telling Aaron, Brittany's like, I'm so happy you're here. And Aaron's like, me too. Meredith goes, that is not the same guy, Mary Cosby. Look at that. That's a different person. And then we put up a split screen of Aaron and Jared Osmond. And I got to tell you, I mean, they don't look exactly alike, but they don't look insanely different either. Like you could get these two people confused. So all of a sudden we hear a clink, 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 and Angie K and Sean are going to make a speech, right? So everybody quiets down and Angie's like, hi, everyone. We wanted to welcome you to our 25th wedding anniversary celebration. And everybody's like, woo, woo. So I got married to Sean when I was 25. And oh my God, Angie's 50. I thought she was, I honestly thought she was younger than that. She looks amazing. And Angie's like, we are still standing 25 years later, even though we are deeply involved in the Greek mafia. And Angie goes, through some little rumors and nastiness, which is a direct quote from Meredith, the rumors and the nastiness. And Angie goes, but it's all good. It's all good. And we get a shot of Meredith standing next to Bronwyn. And Meredith's like, interesting. She just used one of my quotes. Interesting. Angie continues, Sean's really been there for me. He reminded me a lot of my dad. And we see a shot of Angie K's dad, who's like, nice, shout out, nice, nice. He reminded me a lot of my dad. And the dad goes, I just wanted to say congratulations. And I love you both. And he hugs both of them. He hugs them both. And they all clap at this beautiful moment. And the dad continues. He's like, when I first met Sean, and they're all laughing, I was kind of, And Sean's like, you were apprehensive. Well, he had long hair and earrings. And we see a photo of young Sean, and he has this long, glorious rock star hair. I mean, he looks like, a boy band member. He looks like one of the Backstreet Boys. And we see a young Angie K. He's like, he kind of looked like a hippie, And I was from the old school. But he turned out to be one of my best son-in-laws. I like that he said, not my favorite son-in-law. One of. He turned into one of the best son. Not the only, but one of the son-in-laws. He goes, 25 years is a long time. Most couples don't make it that long. But I gave you my blessing. And that's why you're still together and doing so well. It's because of this man. I gave you my blessing. And when I give blessings, things work out. And Sean's like, thank you. That's really awkward. Anyways. And then he goes, we'll drink to the next 25 years. And I'll be here to make a speech again. Cheers, cheers. And everybody's like, light applause. Like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This guy's gunning for a friend of spot next season. So they hug. And Angie's like, Dad, growing up, my dad was my safe space, especially after my mom passed away. He just kept going. He stayed strong for us. He was committed to raising all of these children on his own. And we see a picture of Angie's very large family. And he was committed to giving us a good, solid life. He really set the bar high for what I should look for in a husband. And the dad asks Angie, was that good? Was my speech good? And she's like, it was okay. It was good. No. So anyways, we see the party still in full swing. Lisa's laughing. And all of a sudden, Maylee, Whitney's friends, who is a friend of this season, but we don't really see a lot with Maylee. Maylee's kind of there. You kind of forget Maylee's there. And I hope she has some kind of good moment, because right now she's a little bit of a periphery character. So Maylee comes in and they're like, Maylee, oh my God. Angie hugs her. And they're like, hey, you look so good. You look so good. Brittany is talking to Angie K's dad. Brittany's like, you raised an incredible daughter. Do you look enough like Jared Osmond where I can date you? But everybody seems to be having a festive, good old time. Bronwyn tells Angie K, happy anniversary. This is a big deal. And Angie's like, well, you're on your way to 25 too, Bronwyn. And Bron was like, well, I don't know if we're getting to 25, which is like such a dark joke. I don't know if Todd will be alive for that long. That's crazy. And Angie's like, hopefully I get to celebrate yours with you. And Bron was like, you will. Our anniversary was this week. So you're getting an invitation to something. I don't want to overshadow your big day because I want to tell you something. So you and I have been honest with each other. And Angie's like, of course. And Ron was like, well, Lisa and I saw each other, and she mentioned she was very hurt that Heather had told her something that maybe you said to Heather. I want to make sure I get this story correct. I think you made a comment about Lisa's parenting to Heather. And there's tense music. And, even I'm like, is this the right time to do this? But listen, she's running for Housewife of the Year, Bronwyn. So tense music. We see Lisa Barlow and Heather Gay sip a drink, and Angie's kind of just smiling awkwardly and turns her head. We cut to commercial, and we come back, and Braun's like, Lisa's very hurt that Heather had told her something that maybe you said to Heather. And it's the same lines we just heard. But I think you made a comment about Lisa's parenting to Heather. Huh. And Angie's like, I didn't say she wasn't a good mom. And Bronwyn continues, well, so it's definitely making a circle back to Lisa. So I don't know what your situation with Lisa is, but I do feel like Heather starts little fires and then kind of backs away and watches them burn. And Angie's like, I don't appreciate that Heather did that. She is fully like up Lisa's ass right now, and she's staying there. And Brown's like, well, if she understood that you felt sad about your friendship with Lisa breaking down, she wouldn't be fueling that breakdown by taking one thing you said that felt spicy and running to Lisa with it. She wouldn't. And Angie's like, no, you're right. In a talking head, Bronwyn's like, I don't like that Heather's been talking behind Angie's back, especially when Heather has hung me out to dry for everything that's come out of my mouth. In the scene, she tells Angie K, it did feel like she was pushing that narrative, pushing you to not getting along. And in a talking head, she goes, so I think everybody should pay for what they've said. So I feel like everybody must pay the piper. And Angie's like, I need to talk to Heather. And Bronwyn goes, well, I would want to know what someone said about me, and I'd rather talk to them directly. I love the standards that she's set for herself. So now we hear some dark Greek folk music. Dun, 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 dun. And we see Aaron and Brittany kissing. They're already at kissing in public with other people vibes. And Brittany giggles after the kiss, and she's like, this is why I have Tinder Plus. It works, folks. It works. And Brittany goes, you're cute. You are cute, Aaron. You are a cutie pie. Everybody's eating the food, talking. And Brittany comes up to Lisa Barlow, and Brittany's like, hey, I just want to make sure we're good. And Lisa's like, yeah, are you good? Are you good? I mean, I wasn't mad at you, Brittany. And Brittany's like, I know that we had a really tense moment in the canyon. And I was really upset that Jared and I had broken up because of the whole FaceTime thing and the text thing. And we flash back to that scene where Lisa's like, I don't understand why you would be mad at me because Jared's upset with you, Brittany, because we called him out for his bad behavior. Everybody's like, yeah, but I just want to be in a good space with him where I can at least be friends. And what you did might have ruined that forever. In this scene, Lisa goes, I think it needed to happen, Brittany. Like reading his messages, I felt like he was being so manipulative. And Brittany's like, I feel you. And Lisa's like, it reminded me of my ex, like that I was engaged to 3 different times. And I'm like, what? Lisa Barlow was engaged to her ex 3 separate times? What the hell are they putting in the water in Salt Lake City? That was a needle drop moment for me. Record scratch. Wait, what? Lisa Barlow engaged to the same man 3 different times? Lisa, I wish we had a little IMDb bio about this to read, but oh my God, is that new information? I'd never known that before. I'm sure you guys all knew it, but I didn't know it. So I was like, wait, what is going on? And Lisa goes, I don't want you to have to go through that. And Mary Cosby walks up and Lisa's like, hey, Mary, just talking about love. And Mary's like, what are you guys talking about? And Lisa goes, we were talking about you. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. And Brittany goes, no, we're talking about how fabulous your outfit is, Mary. And then Lisa goes, we were talking about like, I love a good Cuban link. I guess that's some kind of clothing. I don't know. And Lisa tells Mary, are we good? I love these parties where like, are we good? Are we good? Are we good? In different iterations. But Lisa tells Mary, are we good? Because I feel like you were like jumping in on me for a second too. And Mary's like, when? And she's like, when we were ziplining. And Mary's like, no, this is just my thing, Lisa. Like if I get into it with somebody, you're automatically going to take that person's side. And we flash back to that ziplining scene where Mary Cosby's like, you champion body positivity, Heather. And now that's a lie too. It's a lie too. And Heather gives that zoinks face. And Lisa goes, why are we saying she's a liar? Because she said body positivity is a lie. She didn't say I was lying about it. And Mary's like, I see what you're doing. Now, back in this scene, Lisa goes, no, I felt for Heather in that moment because I feel like you were bringing up stuff that like really hurt her. And all of a sudden we hear Heather hear her name, I think. And Mary goes, it's not, Lisa, it's not jiving with me that she's leaving trails of lies. And Lisa's like, but I think she felt hurt. And now Heather and Whitney are walking towards this group. And Lisa goes, and she was trying to express that to you, Mary. And then Heather comes up with her little, vodka soda. She's like, what are you guys talking about? And Lisa's like, I was just saying, we were talking about our conversation when we went ziplining. And Heather goes, about me? About me? And Lisa's like, yeah. And Mary Cosby goes, everywhere you drop and everywhere you stop, it's a lie. Ooh, everywhere you stop and everywhere you drop, it's a lie. And Heather immediately goes, that's extremely hurtful. And Mary's like, okay, well, I'm not saying it to hurt you. Then stop doing it. And Heather goes, it's extremely hurtful. And then Heather immediately goes, no, you fucking tell me when I've lied. You tell me. And Mary goes, don't you dare. Don't you dare. She goes, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Ooh, fear of God. And don't you dare. Don't you dare. And Heather goes, so if I tell you the truth, facts on you, and you say it's a lie, you like Heather gets immediately activated. And Mary's like, we're not going to speak on the truth right now, okay? And Heather goes, don't push me. I'm the star of this show. Don't push me. Did you hear receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots? That's me. That's me, baby. Don't push me. I have been a good friend to you. And then Mary goes, don't push me. You're a liar. You're a liar. And Aaron and Brittany overhear this. It's tension everywhere. And Heather is like wide-eyed. And Mary's like, we'll take it to God. We'll ask God who's a liar. Which, by the way, I talked to God today, and God has not even seen this week's episode of Real Housewives. So he's like, oh, were they talking about me again? And I was like, oh, yeah, this Mary Heather thing. And he's like, oh, my God, I hate when I get involved, like brought into these things. I got so much I'm dealing with right now. And it's just, I don't want to be involved. He's like, to tell you the truth, I didn't even watch Salt Lake. He's like, I'm barely keeping up with OC right now. And I just started Potomac, but Salt, and I was like, you know what? I'll do a recap. You just listen to it if you want, but they are bringing up your name, Todd, right and left. So now God has been invoked. And Heather goes, he does know. And Mary's like, yeah, he does know. And he knows all about you. God knows all about you, Heather Gay. Yeah, man, Mary not backing down. And we see Angie watching this next to Bronwyn. And she's like, what in the Greek fuck mafia is going on over there? What a disaster. Mary goes, whatever I say to your face or say to whatever I say about you, I say it to your face, Heather. And Heather goes, that's not honorable to say. That's horrible. Mean things to my face. And Mary's like, did I do that? Did I do that? And then Heather's like, did I do that? And Mary's like, I do. I don't do that, Heather says. And Mary's like, and that's fine. And Heather goes, name a time that I've been bad to you. And there's a pause. And Mary pauses. And she's like, name a time you've been good to me. Ooh. And Mary makes this face like she farted. No, sorry. Heather makes this face like she farted and smelt it. She's like, ugh, ugh, ugh. Heather in a talking head goes, arguing with Mary is like arguing with the Mormon church. You're going to get gaslit. They're going to tell you what you're saying is not true. And they're going to tell you they never hurt you. Interesting. I'm picking up that Heather might have been Mormon at one point. That's just, I haven't done my research, but that's what I'm picking up. Mary in the scene goes, I don't do things to you guys. And Heather makes another one of those fart faces, like, ugh. In the talking head, Heather goes, but she's been horrible to me, and I didn't forget. Mary in the scene goes, can I just express how I feel, and you just accept it? And Heather goes, I mean, I thought we were in a good place, Mary. Then you came at me ziplining. What a ridiculous sentence. If I had a nickel for any time I said, you came at me at ziplining. But she's like, you came at me at ziplining, Mary, like all these things that you felt like it was pent up and it just came out of left field. And I thought we were in such a good place. Mary goes, all I'm saying is how I feel. And Lisa goes, do you feel like you've said everything you need to say to both me and Heather? And Mary goes, yeah, I guess. Mary, this is just like a Tuesday for Mary. She's like, yeah, I guess. I got it out. And then Heather goes, should we do a group hug? Heather trying to deflect with funny. And And Lisa goes, yeah. And then Mary's face is scrunched like, get the fuck out of here. Nah. And then Lisa goes, maybe high fives, maybe not a hug. And then even Lisa laughs. Mary kind of laughs. Maylee and Bronwyn say hello to each other. Bronwyn's like, my season's going fabulous. How is your season, Maylee? I'm barely seeing you. And we're in episode 6 already. Anyways, Mary Cosby, after this interaction, goes and sits down on this couch. And I'm like, good, take a load off. You just did a lot of heavy lifting. And we hear Mary go, woo, that was a big argument, because she's turning and talking to the two people on the couch next to her. It just is that the two people on the couch next to her look like 9-year-old girls. And so they're both in black dresses, these little girls, not like necessarily the twins from The Shining, but just like two little 9-year-old girls. And Mary turns to them and goes, woo, that was a big argument. And the girls are just kind of like staring, like scared, like, is this stranger danger? What's happening? And Mary goes, to be honest, it made my feet start hurting. And the little girl goes, what happened? And Mary goes, women. Am I right? Women. And then she continues. She goes, I think I'm okay with Heather now. And it's just silence, because the girls don't. And she's like, they're like, who's Heather? They don't even know. They're just silent. They look petrified. And then Mary's like, I mean, I could keep going, but I'm not. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. And then she goes, she laughs. And these girls just have no reaction at all. And Mary keeps laughing. I'm telling you, folks, we don't give Oscars for these things, but if we did, Mary would be in the running for at this point. Okay, so now Angie K goes up to Heather Gay. And Angie's like, thanks for coming, Heather. Thanks for coming. I'm glad you're here. And Heather's still down in this vodka soda. And Angie's like, but I'm kind of a little confused, Heather Gay. Bronwyn just pulled me aside and tried to basically make me think that you are getting in the middle of Lisa and I and our relationship, and that you're taking information to her, making me think that I think she's a shit mom, which was not my intention. And Heather's like, when you came in my room, Angie K, you were like really fired up, and you're making little digs about Lisa that seemed out of character for you. And you mom shamed her about electronics. Do not mom shame about electronics. You can mom shame about it, but would you bring electronics into it, folks? And Heather's like, and I feel like something has shifted in you, and you no longer have Lisa's back, Angie K. I got to tell you, man, the evolution of Heather Gay from where she started in the first season to now is she's got the power. Like, she is the star of Salt Lake City, right? I just don't know. Like, it's like that heavy weighs the crown kind of thing. I feel like she's slipping a little bit. Angie K goes, I am blown away right now, Heather Gay. You think I'm being mean to her? And Heather's like, yeah. And Angie's like, you take sides and it's not good. And Heather's like, I'm not against people, against principles. I love you. Be worried anytime somebody already says they love somebody like 3 seconds into an argument. I love you. I support you. And he's like, I know, but it doesn't feel like that right now. You're taking everything I say and you're taking it to Lisa, and Heather goes, we're going to go talk to Bronwyn right now. We're going to go talk to Bronwyn right now about this. And I'm like, yeah, go talk to Bronwyn. Let's see how this goes for you. And maybe let's get Mary Cosby up there too. And Angie's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go talk. And so Heather goes with her glass, goes up to Bronwyn. It's like, hey, everyone, what's going on? And Maylee's there as well. Maylee's like, hey, I'm Maylee. Heather goes, Angie just told me that you had been in her ear, Bronwyn. And Bronwyn goes, oh my gosh, telling her that. And Angie goes, well, no, not in my ear. I love Angie K's backtracks in the season. No, I didn't say it. I didn't see necessarily in the ear, And Angie goes, well, okay, in my fucking ear. Sure. Let's use that term, And Bronwyn goes, you want to talk to me? And Heather goes, why are you getting in my relationship with Angie? Why are you invested in like anything that's going on with us? Well, I mean, I would say, just because you're on a show together, first off. And Bronwyn goes, well, it shocked me that you told Lisa something that she was probably just venting to you about. And Heather goes, we are dear friends, me and Angie K. And for you to be in her ear about it, like I've seen Lisa. And Bronwyn's like, was I in your ear about it, Angie K? And Angie's like, if we're dear friends though, Heather, if we're dear friends, then I need you to be more fair. And Bronwyn goes, yes, let her fix it. And Heather goes, you're out of line. And Bronwyn goes, I'm not out of line. You think you're head bitch in charge. You think you're HBIC and you can manage everyone's relationships. And Heather goes, if you trust her feedback over our history and our friendship, I cannot help you. And she walks away. Ooh. Do not walk away, man. That is the kiss of death for her. That is admitting defeat. Heather gets rattled super easily when she is the middleman. She is the shit talker, the shit stirrer. So her walking away and Bronwyn being able with laser-like focus to call that out of like, look, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. And it ain't going to, hey, you think you're the head bitch in charge, but that ain't the case because we got Bronwyn. Bronwyn is saddled up for duty. And Angie yells at Heather, what are you doing, Heather? And Maylee goes, she can't take it. Yeah, hi, I'm Maylee. And so there's tense music and Bronwyn's shaking her head like, very interesting. In a talking head, Bronwyn goes, Heather wants to look like the good guy, so she's acting all wide-eyed and innocent, like, why would I have shared this? Why did you share it? It's so messy of Heather to be meddling in their relationship. And if you believe Heather was not meddling, bitch, neither am I. Bronwyn's talking heads are even amazing. Okay, so now Heather walks up to Whitney, Justin Whitney's husband, Meredith, and some tall dude that I don't know who they are. And Meredith's like, how are you, Heather? What's going on? Are you good? And then all of a sudden, folks, a door opens. And in my heart, I hear love music. Because the one and only Jared Osman has come into the scene. He walks in full suit, looking like $1 million, this man. He's like, I heard there was free charcuterie. It's me, Jared Osman. What's going on? Hey. And so Heather sees this and is like, whoa, what? Jared comes in. And Heather's like, what's up? No way. I love that these people, like the Osmond name, I love. It's like, I love how famous, it's like, Will Smith and his family walk in. It's like, no, we got a fucking Osmond. Now it's a party, dude. Fuck. Now it's a 25th anniversary party. We got a fucking Osmond here. Oh my God. Nobody call TMZ. This is just for us. Anyways, Justin gives Jared Osman a bear hug. And he's like, Osman, how you doing, buddy? Bring it in, man. All right. And Maylee goes, holy shit. I'm Maylee, but also Jared just walked in. And Bronwyn's like, oh my God. And Lisa goes, oh my God, did you just see who just walked in? And then Brittany sees Jared Osman, Brittany right next to Aaron, her new love. And Jared tells Heather, what is up, girl? And Heather's like, looks so good, my friend. And Heather bear hugs him. And he's like, how are you, friend? How are you? And then Brittany, the reaction finally happens. And she goes, oh, and she puts her hand over her mouth. She is shot. This is of course she's a film actor. This shot is beautiful. She's like, oh, and then she puts the second hand over her mouth and goes, oh my gosh. He's here. I don't know how he found me, but he found me. Oh my God. So Brittany, both hands covering her mouth. Poor Aaron. And Mary Cosby's like, what do you mean? Who's Jared? I thought this was Jared. What? Who's Aaron? And Heather goes, that's Jared. And Meredith goes, oh, Mary tried to convince me that the other one was. And Mary sees Jared Osman and goes, that's him? That's Jared Osman? Huh. Even Mary's blown away. In a talking head, Mary goes, okay. Tense music is playing. Brittany right next to Aaron. Mary Cosby in the talking head goes, now I get it. Lisa goes, oh my God, this is so weird. Who invited him? And Brittany's like, I don't know. And then Whitney goes, Justin invited him. And this Osmond guy, he's drinking Pellegrino water. We ain't drinking tap. This guy keeps his body pure like an instrument that it is. Justin's right next to him, drinking wine. And Whitney goes, Justin did this. He was just trying to be nice, but he did this. In a talking head, Justin's like, Jared's a friend of mine. I thought, yeah, I should text him and see if he wants to stop by. And then we see a scene outside. I don't know why we needed the scene where Justin's texting Jared with a cigar in his hand and says, "Hey, we're here at Angie's party and Brittany is here. If you're in the area, come by." He even spells Brittany's name right. It's Brittani. That's like, it's like Brittany's here. If you're in the area, come by. Man, Justin is gunning for a Housewives slot. This is messy. He knows exactly what he's doing, this man. Justin's like, it's showtime, baby. So we have Justin to thank for this moment. So thank you, Justin. Whitney goes, the worst part is he has no idea what he just did. The evil he has just unleashed. But Whitney, I think he did. I think you both knew. He totally knew what he was doing. Also, who goes to a party and then just starts inviting other people? Like, that just doesn't happen. Like, that is one of the weirdest things you can do as a party guest. To be like, hey, they've got free booze here. I know you like to drink. Bring some Tupperware. They've got like nice charcuterie here. You can take some home. So Justin, his talking head, he's just laughing. He's like, yeah, I did it. So Brittany now is starting to tear up looking at her man love, Jared Osman. And she goes, what the hell? And Aaron just takes another sip of his drink. And he's like, oh my God, am I looking in the mirror? That guy does look like me. And Justin's like, well, I'm glad you came. And Heather goes, you look great, Jared. He's like, thank you, Heather. Thank you. Thank you. And Lisa goes to Brittany, goes, are you okay? And Brittany goes, no. And she's wiping away tears. No. And then Jared tells Angie K, Jared's like, am I causing a stir? I didn't mean to cause a stir. That's not what I'm not trying to cause a stir, Angie K. And Angie's like, no, of course not. No, I wasn't expecting this. Is this a stripper for us? Is this a stripper of my wedding? And Jared's like, yeah, it's a stripper. Yeah, it's a stripper. And now Maylee is trying to like dab underneath Brittany's eyes with a little tissue paper, like Candace Dillard Bassett. Like, let's wipe these tears off. Let's use a corner. Okay. And so they're all kind of just looking at Brittany's reaction. And Heather in her talking head goes, I feel like I've been inserted in some sort of soap opera. Like, she brings another man to the party and then her suitor pursues her and fights for her. She needs to get off this hamster wheel and figure out what she wants and also be real about what Jared wants. Thank you, Heather, successful relationship advice giver. And Angie goes, Jared, welcome to my 25th wedding anniversary. Let's get you a little cocktail. And Bronwyn says to Brittany, are you okay? Do you want a drink? Do you want something? And Brittany just stares at her with these teary eyes to Bronwyn. And Bronwyn's like, what do you need? What do you need, Brittany? You don't want a hug from me, do you? And Brittany goes, yeah, I really do. This moment was so confusing. Like, Bronwyn took Brittany's in and goes, you don't want a hug from me, do you? And she's like, yeah, I really do. I need a Bronwyn hug. And Bronwyn's like, oh God, okay. And she hugs her and Brittany's mouth goes open like in ecstasy of like, oh, a Bronwyn hug, beautiful. And so they hug. It's so bizarre. Anyways, Angie K's over with Jared at the charcuterie and Angie is explaining about Greek culture. And she's like, Greeks, we like grapes, us Greeks. Here's some grapes. And Jared's like, I'm a grape eater. I don't know if you know me. I come from a long line of grape eaters. We're called the Osmonds. And Angie K's like, do Mormons eat grapes? Whitney and Heather are laughing and giggling in a corner. And Lisa goes, I would be so upset, Brittany. I would ask him to leave. But that's me. And so Brittany's taking this in and the talking head, Lisa goes, I have 4 sisters. I'm trying to be like a good girlfriend to Brittany. I'm trying to help her be direct with Jared. Like, there's a big difference between in love with someone and loving someone. I think it's time for this relationship to end. And Brittany's like, I got to go talk to him. And Lisa's like, just put a like fork in it. It's done. Tin roof rusted. And Lisa's like, just go handle your shit, Brittany. Come on. I mean, just go get it over with. And Lisa drags Brittany over to Jared. And Lisa goes, hi, Jared. We're shocked to see you. I'm going to help her out a little bit. And Jared's like, hi, are you shocked to see me? Are you shocked to see me? And Lisa goes, I'm shocked to see you. And Jared's like, I didn't mean to come interrupt your date, Brittany. I didn't mean to. And Brittany's like, do you want to go outside and talk? And Jared's being a perfect man. He's like, if you would like to. And Brittany's like, let's go. He's like, all right, let's go. This poor Aaron's just sitting there with a drink in his hand. So everybody's watching this. And they step outside, and Jared's like, this looks fun. And Brittany goes, hi. And he goes, having a good time? Do you know I released an album in 2008? Anywho, just silence. And Brittany goes, why are you here, Jared? I mean, the answer is because Justin texted. Justin said there was free charcutes. He just stares at Brittany, like that intense stare. Like, he goes, charcuterie looks fantastic. And she's crying, and she laughs like, that's that beautiful Jared Osmond sense of humor about meats and cheeses that I love. Now, Mary is talking to Aaron in the other room, and Mary tells Aaron, how long have you guys been together? And Aaron's like, oh, we've dated a little bit for the last like month or so. Like, I don't know the timetable on this filming, but that seems like a long time. Like last episode, she was still kind of with Jared. So weird, right? And Lisa's like, or Mary's like, a month? Now back outside, Brittany's like, this makes me so much like more confused. And Jared's just staring at her. And she sits down. And she goes, do you want to sit? And he goes, yeah, I'd love to. I love sitting. I didn't show up here to cause drama, Brittany. I have no expectations. I'm not here to break up your date. I came here honestly because I missed you. Which is bash. That's why I came, even though I knew you were on a date. But I missed you. And I wanted to see you with my eyeballs. And she goes, this is hard because it's like, you know, I love you. I love when I'm in that Costco shopping cart that you're pushing around. And she shakes her head like, you know, it's true. It's like I'm trying to move on, but then you show up and it's just like, and he goes, would you like me to leave? Little lady, would you like me to leave? And she goes, pause. No. He goes, look, you got a date. Let's get you out of the cold. Come on. So Jared got his little like buzz, like, oh, you don't want me to leave? Well, let's get you back into the date. Like he's already like, well, I don't want you. So let's get you back to the guy you're with. And talking to Brittany goes, what is Jared doing? I want these romantic gestures. I want the big, like, come rescue me on a big white horse and be my prince in shining armor. But this isn't that. He's like, get on in here. Come on. I just want him to show up for me like this because he wants to. Just because we're together. I don't want it to be because we're broken up. And Brittany goes up to Aaron, and Aaron puts his arm around her waist. She's like, are you okay? And he goes, yeah. She's like, I'm emotional, and that was shocking. I didn't see that coming, you know, Aaron? And Aaron just stares at her as she exhales. And now at this moment, you think, you know, oh, this is going to be the end of the episode. But all of a sudden, we have Whitney coming up to Lisa Barlow. Because remember, Meredith is like, you should talk. Meredith's like, you should talk to Lisa because you gotta get. I don't like to be in the middleman in this. So Whitney does this. Whitney's like, hey, Lisa. And Lisa literally goes, and Whitney's like, can we talk? And Lisa stands up and goes, okay. They get at this little table, and Whitney's like, let's clear out these drinks, which I don't know is like, did she think that Lisa's going to start throwing drinks at her? Who knows? And Lisa's like, what's up? And Whitney goes, so in Milwaukee, you know, where Jeffrey Dahmer's from, are you aware that you left your sunray behind? Are you aware? And Lisa goes, the necklace. Yeah. And Whitney's like, the necklace I gifted you. And Lisa goes, yeah, I accidentally left it in my room. And Whitney goes, it was an accident? And Lisa goes, it was a total accident. And Whitney's giving her the look like, come on, Jan. I'm not that innocent. I know you didn't leave it there as an accident. Whitney goes, you brought the information about Prism that was posted to the group. And Lisa goes, what's the problem? Whitney goes, I had someone who knows that account reach out to them. And Lisa goes, okay. And they verified that you were the one that fed the information. And Lisa immediately gets activated. She's like, I did not do that. I did not do that, Whitney. Don't accuse me of something like that. And she goes, you're going to have to apologize. You're asking me, or are you accusing me? Because it feels like you're accusing me, Whitney. And Whitney keeps trying to talk, but Lisa just keeps talking. And Whitney's like, I narrowed it down to you. And Lisa immediately screams. She goes, it's not me, Whitney. It's not me, Whitney. It's not fucking me. And Heather goes, who is that yelling? And Mary Cosby looks over and Lisa's like, it's not true. It's not true. And when he's like, can I just tell you? And Lisa's like, I did not DM that account. And I did not talk about your business. And Meredith walks up, Angie K walks up, and Lisa's on a roll. She's like, you're getting your bad information from someone that's bullshit. When he goes, so that's bad information. It's bad information. When he goes, so when you're mad at me, you don't go plant stories. And when Lisa goes, I don't. And when he's like, I am being told that you planted it. And now Lisa Barlow has whipped out her phone. And Lisa's like, who is it? Because I'm going to sue him. Tell me who said it. I'm going to sue him because it's a lie. You trust that person, but not me. In a talking head, Lisa goes, little girl, you're fucking gullible. Like maybe if you would to actually make your jewelry, you wouldn't have time to fabricate this shit. She tells us in the scene, you know what? The last time that we left each other, you texted me and said you loved me. That's the last time I heard from you. And when he goes, I do love you, Lisa. That's why this fucking hurts so bad. And then Lisa screams, I didn't do it to you. I didn't do it to you. I didn't do it to you. And she's like mad. She's like, I didn't do it to you. And Justin like kind of looks up, just still drinking his wine, like, rough. And Lisa goes, shut the fuck up about that. And she's yelling. I'm in a hotel room, so I can't really yell. She's like, shut the fuck up about that. I didn't do that to you. And John Barlow, like slowly sipping his drink, surveying his wife, yelling, shut the fuck up about your lies. And when he goes, then why do I have proof? Why do I have proof that you did then? And Lisa's like, I'm calling Sean. I'm livid. I'm livid. And when he goes, how do you think I feel? I don't know how you feel because you're making it up. And when he's like, to know that potentially one of my friends bashed my business. And Lisa's like, hey, Sean, hold on. Give me names. Fucking give me names. We're going to investigate every fucking one of them. Meredith, by the way, looks so confused. Like, what? She's trying to remember her bat mitch. She's like, bat mitch, Barugacha, Harden. I'm trying to remember what I got. Anyways, what's going on? Oh, there's a fight going on. And Lisa, this Sean guy picks up. He's like, I'm going to get everyone. Hey, Sean, I need an investigation open. I'm being accused of doing something I didn't do. I'm going to send you information and I want to go the distance on it. The distance. Sean's like, hey, I'm watching the Golden Bachelorette right now. Could I call you back? Like, this is kind of a bad, it's at night. I don't want to open an investigation right now. What? I love like, I want to go the distance on it. I'm not going to go halfway. I'm going the distance. I'm going for speed. All alone in a time of need. I'm Lisa Barlow, suing the people. I love that song. Anyway, Heather is talking to Lisa Barlow's husband. Heather's like, she's calling. Who is she calling? And John very calmly goes, oh, I think she's calling one of our, the guy that he's a security guy. And Heather goes, oh, yeah, cybersecurity. I love that this is totally, oh, yeah, you're cybersecurity guy. Oh, yeah, of course, of course. Also, this cybersecurity guy, I feel no offense to the cybersecurity guy. But like, even after like Reality Von Tease, how good of a cybersecurity guy is this guy? Because it seems like these housewives are getting attacked right and left. Like, can we talk about the times this cybersecurity guy has actually helped the situation? Like, has he stopped a lot of shit? Because it just feels like more shit keeps happening. So everybody's taking this whole fight in. And Lisa's on the phone with Sean going, Whitney's accusing me of doing something I didn't do. So I want you to get the police involved because it's my character. I want you to get the police involved and go the distance on this. Get the LA police involved. Get the Salt Lake police involved. I don't give a fuck what the Menendez brothers did. I need them involved. And you owe me a big fucking apology, Whitney. And I'm going to send you a bill. I'm going to send you a bill. And Whitney's like, oh my God, I'm going to have to raise my prices on my jewelry. And then Lisa goes, I'll call in real detectives, not Whitney Drew, who thinks like I'm connecting the dots. Honey, you didn't pass art or math or geometry or anything else. You should not be anywhere near dots because you are not good at connecting them. Is that true? Did Whitney not pass basic classes? Anyways, who knows? And Whitney's like, I am not lying. And Lee goes, you know what? Every time I think we're friends, you fuck it up, and like walks away. And a talking head, Whitney goes, Lisa can yell and scream all she wants. That just shows me that she knows I caught her. And then Lisa runs back up to Whitney and goes, actually, you know what, Whitney? Stop fabricating things. I don't know what to believe because you lie about everything. So it's getting intense. And Whitney's husband, Justin, he's just like, what the fuck is she saying right now? And then Lisa goes, Justin, how do you do this? You have to deal with the lies and sift through the shit, and walks right up to Justin, who's right next to John, her husband. And Justin's like, she's not a liar. She's not a liar. Don't call my wife a liar. And I'm like, here we go. And John's kind of smiling, like, what's going on? And Lisa's like, she's a liar, Justin. And he's like, no, don't call my wife a liar. She's a liar, Justin. And then he goes, she's not a fucking liar, Lisa. She's not a fucking liar. And Lisa's like, liar, 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 pants on fire. And Justin's like, she's not a fucking liar. And Lisa just goes, she's a liar. And then John steps in and goes, Justin, ease up on the fucking, because he's using bad language now. And then John kind of steps to Justin, and Justin goes, get him the fuck away from me. And Lisa's husband is like, don't say those words to my wife, Justin. And Heather Gay's mouth is just agape. Flies are just coming in and out of Heather Gay's mouth. And then Justin goes, I'm going to pound his ass. And Lisa goes, we will have the police involved. I'm going to have my cybersecurity and my lawyers and my security on this. And Whitney comes up to her husband, Justin, and John's touching Justin on the shoulder. And Justin's like, get your hand off me. Get your hand off me. And we see Mary Cosby's reaction. And then, you guys, it says, to be continued, ... Holy moly. And we don't have a preview for next week's episode, but my God, Justin got all in the mix. The guys were getting angry. Lisa's threatening cybersecurity. What an episode, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. What an episode. Always remember to subscribe to the show because we release a lot of surprise episodes. But this was our Real Housewives of Salt Lake City journey. Be with us here all week. We got great guests. Sophie's going to be on to talk about the wedding at some point. And I just really appreciate you being here with us. And I hope you got some laughs. Have a great start to your week. It's Monday. Let's do this. Okay. Bye, guys. I'm headed back to LA. Bye.